Chapter 2037. Above the Milky Way. The three Emperor stars fused into one, making the already eye-catching Emperor star even more dazzling. Dazzling starlight sprinkled down like rain. Starlight nurtured the budding of life. When it fell upon the lands of the God realm, all living things came to life. The forest Yale had destroyed earlier. The flowers and grass he'd trampled. It was as if they'd been reborn. They reappeared in Yale's field of vision, thriving. Even more starlight poured into Yi Zichen's body. It was as if he'd been given a new lease on life. The godhead above his head shone brightly, and his skin was as tender as a newborn's. Furthermore, his aura continued to rise like a rocket. Yale couldn't wait any longer. This kind of rising aura filled him with dread. If Yi Zichen had enough time, forget about fusing with only 4 godheads, even if he'd fused with 5, he might not be able to defeat him. He might not even be able to defeat him. He had to stop him. Yi Zichen's divine power surged through his body. Boundless divine power gathered around him, turning the surrounding sky purple. Whoosh! There was a flash of afterimages. Yale gathered all of his divine power into his arm and struck Yi Zichen's life gate with all his might. Die! Yale roared, but his roar was filled with anticipation. This one punch. In truth, it would decide the outcome of this battle. If the Emperor's star died to this punch, Yale would become the sole ruler of this world. No one could stop him. Even in the 4th era, the 5th era. So long as they didn't fuse their 3 Emperor stars, so long as they were strangled in the cradle, no one could shake Yale's position. If he didn't die, this was already Yale's full strength. He couldn't possibly use any more power after this. The Emperor's star. His strength continued to climb. If this continued, Yale's only fate would be death. He swung his fist, carrying the weight of everything. Dong! Yale's fist seemed to strike a solid wall. The enormous force of the impact caused his entire arm to explode. He hurriedly retreated. The Emperor's star was unscathed. A barrier of condensed starlight surrounded him. The Emperor's star didn't even try to defend against his attack. Ha! At that moment, the Emperor's star opened its eyes. The dazzling starlight dyed his pupils dark blue, and disdain towards Yale flickered between his brows. He ignored Yale and took out a bottle with a flip of his hand. The inside of the bottle was filled with golden spots of light. You've worked hard, May-er. Bang! The bottle was gently crushed, and the golden specks of light instantly drifted everywhere in the world. But not long after, the specks of light converged again. A pure and holy body condensed in the void. He waved his hand and draped a blue robe over his body in the air. Then, the Emperor's star raised his hand and clenched it. The light of the flames. You've worked hard, Xiao Hua. The motes of light converged into a red gem and entered Yi Zichen's body. Then, the Emperor's star closed his eyes, and his star consciousness enveloped the entire Milky Way. When he opened his eyes again, the radiance of the Emperor's star instantly spread out. After doing all of this, only then did Yi Zichen turn around to look at Yale, who was already a bit crazed. I told you a long time ago that it's over. Why are you still struggling? Why did you let those who shouldn't have died help you to your death? Don't tell me you're satisfied just like that? Emperor Star, roared Yale. Don't force me. I've never forced you. You're the one who's been forcing us. If it weren't for your invasion, would we have ended up like this? Muttered Yi Zichen. I'm doing this for the sake of the entire world's ascension. But your method won't work at all. Each soul can only fuse with one godhead. You think you're ascending, but that's just pushing the world towards destruction. Impossible. Yale laughed, then pointed at the 4 godheads above his head. Look at what's above my head. That's the hard truth. I'm not wrong. Up to you. Suddenly, Yi Zichen's tone darkened as he tried to reason with Yale. Starlight surged in his hands, and before long, a great sword formed in front of him. With me here, your ascension shouldn't be able to be used in actual combat. Emperor Star. If you dare take a single step forward. Crack. A crisp sound reverberated through the sky, causing Yi Zichen's sword-wielding hand to tremble. He looked up at Yale's head. It was his godhood that had shattered. This crack was the result of Yale trying to self-destruct. Have you seen a god emperor's self-destruction? A divine king's self-destruction can flatten half of the god realm. Not even 100 divine kings can compare to a god emperor. This emperor has 4 godheads. As long as this emperor wills it, the entire Milky Way galaxy will be destroyed by this emperor's self-detonation. Do you believe me? Suddenly, a scene flashed through Yi Zichen's mind. Desolation. The entire world was devoid of color. The plane had collapsed, the era had been destroyed. In all of heaven and earth, only he had. Zwoemo. That was the end of Gu Zichen's plane, and Yale's self-destruction was the result. Begin. Do you dare? Do you think you have the power to protect your clansmen? Do you think you can protect all of these planes? Do you dare? Yale roared. This was the last thing he could rely on to threaten Yi Zichen. After a long while, Yi Zichen remained silent. Did you know? Actually, many years ago I was a rather useless otaku. After a moment of silence, Yi Zichen smiled wryly and looked at Yale. I don't have any dreams of revenge. I just want to be a normal citizen. Ha, who would have thought someone would tell me I'm the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, Xian Yuan? I believed them. Then I became the Emperor's Star, the Emperor of the 9 heavens. I believed them. Someone from another plane came to me and told me that his plane had been destroyed. Only I could change the future of the myriad planes. I believed them. I believed them, but my weakness and my saintly heart prevented me from becoming the savior they saw me as. All this time, I've been protected like a precious treasure. Just now, those 2 Emperor Stars risked their lives to keep me alive, so they fused their Emperor Stars and gave them to me. Say, don't you think I'm very lucky? Yale didn't understand why Yi Zichen was telling him all this. He simply narrowed his eyes and stared at Yi Zichen. I'm very lucky. Before long, Yi Zichen answered his own question. I'm a lucky person. Under their protection, I've never wanted to change. But people, how could they change so easily? The country I lived in had no wars, no strife. I was used to a comfortable life. Deep in my bones, I was comfortable. If I changed, what could I possibly become? Yi Zichen looked up at himself mockingly. He did his best to keep his tears from falling. I thought about repaying them and making myself more resolute. I put on an act, but I was afraid. I was so afraid that I'd suddenly die, that I wouldn't be able to return to the real world to play games and eat barbecue. At the very front. Afraid. I've been holding it in. If you're afraid of death, then leave. No one can hurt you now, snorted Yale. I wanted to, really. Just now, when you tried to self-destruct, my hands trembled. It's a pity that my compassionate heart wants me to be the hero. Emperor's Star. Instantly, Yale's godhead became dazzling. Chapter 2038. The sky was filled with starlight. It wasn't just the God Realm's territory. Even outside of the God Realm, they could see the starlight. What's going on? Quite a few experts looked up at the sky. They knew the Emperor's Star was still clashing with the God Kings of the outside realm. The other Lords of the Stars had all been mobilized. It looked like a final battle was about to break out. All they could do was pray that the Emperor's Star would win. However, this starlight. Yeezy. The black and golden beams of light suddenly sped up. Emperor's Star. Don't say I didn't warn you. Yi Zichen looked at Yale, who was slowly walking towards him. He roared angrily and slowly retreated. The 4 godheads above his head were already covered in cracks. It was as if even a gust of wind could cause these godheads to disintegrate. I know. Yi Zichen was much calmer in the face of Yale's threat. In fact, judging from the performance of the 2 of them, Yale had already lost. Aren't you going to self-destruct? You know I'm going to. I'm going to destroy the entire world. Without waiting for Yale to finish, Yi Zichen answered. In that case, do you want the entire world to bear the consequences of your hasty decision? No! Yi Zichen smiled and shook his head. I'll bear the consequences myself. With that, Yi Zichen suddenly sped up. Before Yale could react, he'd already appeared in front of him. Self-destruct? You don't have the courage to do that, do you? In that case, I'll give you a push. He clenched his fist. The four godheads, which were already full of cracks, instantly exploded. Boundless energy surged outward like a nuclear bomb. Yale, who'd been forced to self-destruct, stared intently at Yi Zichen. Emperor's Star. It's fine. You won't be alone on your journey. I'll be accompanying you. Energy surged. Yale and Yi Zichen, who were within range of the explosion, were slowly swallowed up by the raging energy. This self-destruction was enough to destroy the entire world. They were trapped in a space less than 10 cubic meters wide. No matter how much energy raged, it couldn't break through. Whoosh! Several shadows landed at the divine palace. At the very front, the war goddess and Elder Lin lowered their heads in silence. The black and gold light landed on the ground. The great sage and Yang Jian hurried to the divine palace. When they arrived, they just happened to see the space compressing energy until it formed a black hole. Yi Zi, the great sage, wordlessly walked in front of Elder Lin. Where is he? We're late. After a long time, Elder Lin said to the great sage. He was too late. What does that mean? Does that mean Yezi is dead? This old son doesn't believe it. The rims of the great sage's eyes reddened. The Rui Jingu bang spun in his hand, stirring up gusts of wind. Cracks appeared in the surrounding world. Then, the great sage did something that no one had expected. He wanted to enter the crevice. Monkey! Yang Jian grabbed hold of the great sage, preventing him from entering the fissure. The war goddess and Elder Lin hurriedly stabilized the crack. He was afraid that the great sage would do something stupid again. Let me go. Yi Zi can't possibly die. Old son, am going to find him. The great sage's thinking was simple. He wanted to find the black hole in the spatial fissure. However, there were so many black holes. How could he possibly find the one he was looking for in the vast Milky Way? Let me go. The great sage struggled desperately, but his mind kept replaying the scene of him and Yi Zichen together. Great sage, hurry up and retract your divine abilities. That wasn't a Yao, it was a demonic disguise technique. Hey Waha, the newest one. Want a taste? Fairy Zixia is my broswoman, so there's no doubt about it. I've decided on your behalf. No one can steal it from you. Yi Zi. The great sage sat dejectedly on the ground. He looked up at the sky, his bloodshot eyes brimming with crystalline tears. Yang Jian, who'd gone to great lengths to restrain the great sage, sat dejectedly on the ground. He'd wanted to come back and extort a fortune from Yi Zi. How come he'd never see him again? Little did he know, in the sky above Yang Jian and the great sage's heads, the five elements Great Emperor, the Eastern Monarch Tai, and Sang Xiong were accompanied by a group of Yao and God experts who'd been captured by the gods. Without Yale, the three of them could do whatever they wanted in the God realm, and it hadn't taken them much effort to rescue them. When they learned that the Lich King was the five elements Great Emperor, the Great Emperors were astonished. After explaining the reason, the Great Emperors expressed their understanding. Empress Su Qinyan and Su Wan'er were on the verge of tears. They'd reunited after a long time. They could catch up. Just as they were about to join up with Ji Yuan's army, they sensed something strange going on in the divine imperial palace. They'd seen it all with their own eyes. The Emperor's Star. The five elements Great Emperor and the other Great Emperors froze. The Empress and the others covered their mouths, their eyes wide. Zichen. The Lord of Seven Stars, Yi Rong, fainted. Su Yan's face paled and she shook her head repeatedly. She lost her footing and almost fell from the sky. In the end, Su Waner caught her. Then she felt Zichen tremble violently and choke with sobs. The Emperor's star. The masters of the stars were dumbfounded. The minister of the left, Yin Shang, knelt in the sky. Emperor Hades clutched his head. Su Luer and Go Yuzhan looked on in shock. The Emperor's star. Dead? In the end, he'd used his own starlight to seal Yale's self-detonation. Had the two of them perished together? Kiki, come back. The Dragon Clan head grabbed a young woman with all his might. She was none other than Xia Kiki, the Golden Dragon. It was like the fated star was the Emperor's star. She ran toward the divine palace like a madwoman. No one could stop her. Only the leader of the Dragon Clan followed her. And then, she saw it all with her own eyes. Let me go. I'm going to find Big Brother Zichen. Xia Kiki transformed into a golden dragon, but in the blink of an eye, the Dragon Clan head reverted to his true form and grabbed her with his claws. 100 miles. Within 100 miles of the divine imperial palace, no one except the Lord of the Stars could enter. Yang Jian and the great sage sat on the ground and looked up at the sky. Su Luer and Go Yuzhan lowered their heads in silence. Emperor Hades clutched his head and let out a low roar. Yin Shang punched the ground, soaking it red. The fated star. Su Yen and Xia Kiki hugged each other. Lu Jing gazed at the divine imperial palace. She didn't know why, but she felt bitter. She still couldn't remember Yi Zichen. It was just that. Her dusty memories seemed to awaken, bit by bit. The First Era's experts stood 100 miles away, mourning silently. Clansmen from other planes had arrived as well. When they learned of the First Era's Star Lord's death, they lowered their heads as well. This battle. They'd won, but they'd sacrificed too much. No one cheered. A heavy silence enveloped everyone's hearts, but at that moment. Ding-dong, ding-dong, ding-dong. One crisp sound after another rang out in everyone's ears. This familiar sound. It was the sound of a cell phone notification. That's not right. This was the God Realm's territory. They didn't even have a communication network here. Furthermore, who would be so ungrateful as to send them a message under these circumstances? Practically at the same time, everyone took out their phones. Chapter 2039. Ring, ring, ring. He stretched lazily and raised his hand to press the alarm. He got out of bed and washed up. When they arrived at the restaurant, it was already full of people. Kiki held milk and bread in her hands and stuffed them into her mouth. Su Yen ate more like a virtuous lady, but she also seemed to be in a rush. Susu, I'm leaving first. I'm going to be late for roll call. Ah, wait for me, roll call? Yi Zichen, who had just sat down, was stunned for a long time. What are you waiting for? Don't you need to go to class? Lu Jing, who was sitting on the sofa, was shaking her head and reading some dirty manga on her phone. Class? Yi Zichen instantly understood. Today was the day they resumed school. No wonder Xia Kiki and Su Yen were in such a hurry. They hadn't gone to school for so long. No matter how much they hated going to class before, they were in a hurry now. They didn't want to be late. He glanced at the time on his phone. It was too late. Since that was the case, swoosh. Hey, where's Zichen? Didn't he just sit down? Yirong walked out of the kitchen in an apron and looked at the empty dining table in confusion. Just now, he used the profound meaning of time to accelerate the time at his place. After eating breakfast, he teleported away. He should be at school by now. Seeing Yirong coming over, Lu Jing quickly put away her phone. Old Man Lin and the God King both told him not to use his spiritual energy so carelessly. He was clearly injured back then, but he's still so mischievous. Yirong sighed. Su Yen has a good daughter-in-law. What's there to be afraid of? She's the goddess of life, she'll be able to heal any injuries, Lu Qing said. She is good, but aren't you also my good daughter-in-law? As soon as Yirong's voice fell, Lu Jing's face turned red and she muttered. I'm not, on the street. The bustling crowd began their busy day. No one noticed that a black-robed young man had suddenly appeared beside them. However, when the young man appeared and saw his attire, everyone was surprised. I forgot again, this is the modern world. Yi Zichen slapped his head. He had already gotten used to the black robe after staying in the modern realm for so long. Even if he had been back for half a month, he still hadn't changed his habits from that time. He was right. They came back. In the final battle of the Divine Imperial Palace, Yi Zichen had used the Emperor Star's radiance to seal Yale's self-destruction. The violent energy engulfed the two of them. Actually, he should be dead. The fact that he was able to survive was actually thanks to the First and Second Era's Star Lord. Just as his star was about to fall, it was those two Imperial stars that had split apart to bear the burden of Yale's self-destruction, and he had luckily survived. Of course, he had also suffered serious injuries that he had yet to recover from. At that time, he was the one who created the new group, and the video was also a video of him waving his hand while heavily injured but still alive. The people who once belonged to the modern world had all returned. Emperor Hades and Su Yen finally acknowledged each other as brother and sister, and Su Yen didn't hold a grudge against Emperor Hades for speaking ill of her. Xia Kiki didn't become the leader of the dragon race. In her words, the clan elders were still strong and could rule the dragon clan for millions of years. She wanted to stay by Brother Yi Zi's side. No one would know if Lu Qing had recovered her memory if she didn't say anything. However, in the end, she decided to return with Su Yen and the others. She even moved into Yi Zichen's mansion. Reason? No. She just liked it. After that, she read those filthy comics day and night. As for the modern world, when the ice receded, everyone's memories would still be the same as before the ice was sealed. So, when Yi Zichen and the others returned, the place looked just as they'd left it. No. All traces of the demon invasion had been erased. You two went too far, muttered Yi Zichen as he caught up to Xia Kiki and Su Yen. Why didn't you wait for me? Who told you to be lazy? Su and I tried to wake you up several times. Is that so? Yi Zichen scratched his head in embarrassment. He didn't know if it was because of his injuries or something else, but he really did like to sleep a lot lately. The others couldn't wake him up no matter how much they tried. Hey, you guys really took your time. At that moment, a pretty girl appeared in front of them. Just how pretty was she? Quite a few people bumped into the railings just for looking at her. She was Su Mei. Why are you here too? Yi Zichen didn't understand. Me? Hee, seniors, please take care of me in the future, said Su Mei with a mischievous smile. You're going to school here? Xia Kiki was shocked. Can't I? Su Mei felt wronged. No. Then Xia Kiki looked towards Yi Zichen. It seems like you're going to become the school's public enemy in the future. With that, Xia Kiki blinked and said mischievously. Yi Ji seems to be with the class monitor earlier. Are you guys looking for my lil sis? Outside the school, beside the beautiful woman in leather clothes was a girl with a timid face. The girl kept her head lowered, but when Yi Zichen looked over, her face turned red. Aren't you going to say hello? The girl smiled. Classmate Yi. Class monitor. Yi Zichen smiled, then looked towards the girl. The demon's holy maiden is going to stay here? Maybe this place looks pretty good. It's not bad to stay here for a few hundred years, said the girl. Oh my monster. Demon's holy maiden, a few hundred years. A passerby heard their words and immediately turned to run. However, before he could take a few steps, a girl appeared in front of him and knocked him out, then dialed 120. Did I go too far? The one who spoke was a girl, along with a big sister and 5 cute little fellows. Lil sis, you did the right thing. No, this kind of person should be burned by me. Let me hack him up. How about electrifying him? Do whatever you want, I can't be bothered. You guys are so fierce. The 5 elemental fairies. They had been revived. The fire elemental fairy risked her life to keep their primordial spirits, while Yi Zichen risked his life to keep the fire elemental fairies' primordial spirit. The elemental fairies all knew that their lives were saved by the fire elemental. At that moment, even the lightning elemental fairy treated the fire elemental fairy as an older brother. As for the girl, Li Jiai, I am interning as a kindergarten teacher now. They're my students. I don't know why, but I ended up here, Li Jiai said with a blush. I'm also a kindergarten teacher, Lu shrugged. Some people might have forgotten about her. She was the queen of ice and snow, and one of Su Lu's fated stars. Chapter 2040. Remember in 1 second, pen divided by fun. This is a wonderful free reading without a pop-up window. Who would dare to believe it? Big Sister Lu, who could freeze even Main gods with her breath of ice, had come to the modern world to open a kindergarten. No problem, no problem. Yi Zichen was still terrified of his sister-in-law. How I wish those naughty brats could be more careful. Don't anger Big Sister and she'll freeze them. Their little bodies were bony. If they were frozen, they would die. Little Yen, when you have time, tell your sister about it. In the modern world, there are laws. Anyone who injures or kills someone has to pay the law. I will, but do you think she will be afraid? That one sentence caused Yi Zichen to choke. Good luck, those little fellows. Boss, we're here. 5 young men walked over with their arms around each other's shoulders. Yin Shang, Go Yuzhan, and Emperor Hades Su Yun. As for the other 2, they were unfamiliar. Xiaobai and Kong Ming? No. Little White and Kong Ming remained in the God, Yao, and Devil realms. Both of their races needed the 2 patriarchs to lead them. Then these 2, didn't I say that Yi Zi couldn't tell? Your fiery eyes of truth are useless. My heavenly eyes are the best. Look for trouble? I, old son, happen to have nothing to do. Puff, the great sage, and Yang Jian. Why are you 2 here? Aren't you busy with the heavenly palace? The Buddhist domain is being reshuffled. My master wants me, old son, to be a holy Buddha. Chanting scriptures every day annoyed me to death, so I ran off. No one in the heavenly palace dares to control me. Yang Jian shrugged. Then what about the 2 of you? We knocked them out and threw them into the trash can. No one should find out for a while, Yang Jian said. Yi Zichen was speechless. These 2 lords were still so reckless. Did you guys hear? DSG won the championship. As the surrounding students discussed the game, Yi Zichen couldn't help but feel a bit familiar with the team's name. Pu Jingwan's team, said Coco. It's her. Yi Zichen still had some impression of her. Back then, she was a popular streamer who wanted him and Kiki to join her team. I wonder what Pu Jingwan is up to. Her? The great sage and Yang Jian looked at each other and smiled. She's probably on the run because of the boy with the surname Shen. Before he could finish speaking, Jingwan, I love you, I don't like you, I beg you to let me go, a woman screamed, then ran in front of Yi Zichen not long later. Boss, Yi Zichen instantly understood when he saw her pitiful expression. Dong one kick. The young man with the surname Divine was kicked a dozen meters away. The passers-by were all dumbfounded. They all thought that the young man would be kicked to death. Then, the young man stood up, patting his butt. I won't give up. Swoosh, he disappeared. Lu Jiai, sorry to trouble you. No problem. Xiao, an afterimage flashed. Everyone on the street was knocked unconscious. Oh, it's the emergency center. Yes, it's the same place as before. The entire street has fainted. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm a foreigner. Please come quickly. Bye-bye. Bang. The call ended. Done. Lu made a victory sign. Everyone else clapped and cheered. Only Yi Zichen couldn't help but facepalm. These guys, they came to cause trouble, right? I really don't know how much trouble they'll cause by staying here. At that moment, Yi Zichen was thinking, should I report them to the higher-ups? No. It's useless even if I report them. These people can't even be killed by atomic bombs. I have to rely on myself to control them. But these people aren't easy to mess with. They're all big sis. Oh my god, we're going to be late, right? Suddenly, Coco exclaimed. Su Yen and Yi Zichen both looked at their phones, then their expressions changed. They prepared to run towards the school without even saying goodbye. Student, please wait. Nobody noticed when did two black Jetta appear in front of the school gate. The one sitting in the car, Elder Lin. For some reason, Yi Zichen had a bad feeling when he saw him appear. Is something the matter? Not long later, an image appeared in Yi Zichen's mind. When will it be? Just now, Elder Lin said solemnly. We found the location of the Milky Way Master. He's in a bad state. Do you need my help? Elder Lin was a bit embarrassed, but his gaze was firm. I'm sorry, but your vacation is over. Wow, you guys are too much. Yi Zichen's face was filled with annoyance, but not long later, a smile flashed across his face. It's just that I really don't like it when I suddenly get back to peace after adventuring for so long. Yang Jian, the great sage, Yin Shang, we're ready. Yang Jian and the great sage had already returned to their original forms, while the other three also flashed with starlight. The surrounding people, Lu. Understood. Bang bang bang, another several tens of people fell. Oh no, emergency center. It's me again. I was a terrorist and locked onto my location? Come if you dare. Just see if you guys die or not. Bang. The phone was smashed. They said I'm a terrorist, Lu said unhappily. You guys control her. Don't let her be too impulsive. With that, Yi Zichen soared into the sky. The great sage, Yang Jian and the other three emperor stars followed behind him. Yi Ji, you're leaving again? Xia Kiki and Su Yan's faces were filled with worry. Don't worry, I'll come back alive. 6 beams of light shot into the sky. The girls at the school gate looked up at the sky. He should be fine, right? Of course not. Hey, where did those 5 dolls go? Lu looked at the empty ground. Emperor Star, you're going overboard by not bringing us along. After the 6 beams of light, 5 different colored lights followed, then merged into Yi Zichen's arm. Ha, my bad. I won't blame you this time, but if there's a next time, what can you do to him? The electric sprite suddenly interrupted. Me? The fire sprite thought for a while. Nothing, I'll just stick to him. Everyone roared with laughter. They're leaving again. Within the mansion, Lu Jing looked up at the sky. Yi Rong, who was tidying up the tableware, paused for a moment, then returned to normal. If they're gone, then so be it. We'll just wait for him to come back. He's used to that kind of life. He might not be used to this kind of comfort. The story of the Milky Way galaxy finally came to an end. Yale's seal returned the Milky Way galaxy to normal. The other parallel planes were reborn because of Yi Zichen's success. However, the adventure continued. What would happen to the other races of the universe? How were the injuries of the Milky Way Master? The enmity between the Milky Way galaxy and the other galaxies? Would the Milky Way galaxy regain its position as the ruler of the universe? Everything, all of this required the Emperor Star and his brothers to bear witness. To realize it, this wasn't the end. The end was just a new beginning. Chapter 2041. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2036, Milky Way Chapter, Begin. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2042. Destruction. Desolation. Countless planet-sized rocks floated chaotically through the cosmos. They'd all come from a shattered planet. Judging from the number and size of the rocks, they definitely didn't come from the same planet. There were even quite a few intact planets among them. Unfortunately, the ring of stars was dark and devoid of the planet's spiritual energy. Yang Jian and the great sage shuttled through the rubble, then ascended to a high vantage point and looked down at the ruins below. How tragic! The cute wind elemental fairy covered her mouth. From the shattered planets and the dim ring of stars, it was easy to imagine just what sort of calamity had befallen this place. It looks like a galaxy, but it's all destroyed. The fairy's face was expressionless, and her tender little hands flitted through the air from time to time. I can still sense the existence of the 5 elements, but they're already very thin. Based on this galaxy was destroyed roughly 3 to 4 eras ago. Yi Zichen said nothing. He simply shuttled through the rubble and planet. After transcending, he was already extremely fast. Yi Zichen could cross the distance between 2 planets in the blink of an eye. He walked past one planet after another, memorizing their appearances. In his mind's eye, he pieced the fragments together and reconstructed their original appearance. Shock. That was the only word that could describe his current emotions. In his mind's eye, a grand, magnificent picture appeared. The galaxy was vast and boundless. Countless planets were arranged according to a mysterious pattern. This wasn't their original appearance. Even so, the shock it brought didn't lessen. Unfortunately, it was already destroyed. Even though it had once been glorious, it was now a desolate, desolate place. This was it. Yi Zichen seemed to sense a hint of familiarity from this remnant. Elder Lin, this place. Yi Zichen glanced at Elder Lin. Little did he know. Hot tears welled up in Elder Lin's murky eyes. He silently gazed ahead at the only intact super-large-scale planet and its dim ring of stars. This is the former location of the Milky Way galaxy. The planet before you is the main planet of the Milky Way galaxy, the Silver Star. Instantly, everyone's expressions turned solemn. Elder Lin let out a long sigh and looked at the planet that was tens of thousands of times the size of Earth from afar. The Silver Star is located in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The broken planets you see are the auxiliary planets that make up the Silver Star. There are a total of 24 auxiliary planets that protect the Silver Planet like guards. Each of these 24 planets forms its own system, and there are hundreds of millions of planets within the system. Apart from them, there are countless guard planets that form another system. In the past, this place had its glory days too. Elder Lin let out a long sigh. It was as if he could see the prosperity of the Milky Way galaxy in his eyes. If that's the case, then the amount of planetary debris here isn't right. Yang Jian pointed at the rubble as if he was counting the number of rubble to assemble it. There are only a few hundred broken planets here. The others have all been destroyed. Elder Lin smiled bitterly. Annihilation? Yang Jian raised an eyebrow. Yes, the entire planet, the entire galaxy was annihilated. People from the planet. All dead. Elder Lin's voice was very soft. The inhabitants of those planets might not even know how they died. Not experiencing any pain might be a type of happiness for them. Thinking back to that day, it was like the end of the world. The Milky Way Master and his 24 generals left the galaxy. Chapter 2043. Earth. The Master of the Galaxy had yet to appear. Yi Zichen and the others had no choice but to bring the girl back. Today it was the 6th day of the girl's coma. Yi Zichen and company were unable to determine the girl's condition. Even the main god of life, Su Yan, was clueless about her situation. All she could do was use the light of recovery. Try your best to heal the girl's external injuries. Su Yan was an expert when it came to healing. She stayed in the room to treat the girl, while the others came to the living room. Elder Lin, is there any news about the Master of the Galaxy? Yi Zichen asked in the living room. He was not particularly concerned about the girl's condition. Compared to whether the girl would wake up or not, he was more concerned about the news of the Master of the Galaxy. The former Overlord. If they could return, it would be a guarantee for the safety of the Milky Way galaxy. You should know. The universe's secret realm was still within the Milky Way galaxy. With the war goddess in the lead, the Ocean Larch and the other great emperors had been on guard. The beast emperor, Dong Wang, had used his chessboard as a seal. Try your best to seal the exit of the secret realm. Most of the God Realm's members were stationed there. If an outsider appeared, they'd notify Yi Zichen immediately. The connection between the Master of the Galaxy and me is unilateral. Elder Lin sat on the sofa and stared at the young ladies' room on the second floor. If he doesn't take the initiative to contact me, I can't advise him. If we want to know about the Master of the Galaxy, we can only wait for Miss Shea to wake up. Zichen. At this moment, Su Yen walked out of her room on the second floor. Elder Lin, who was downstairs, instantly stood up. Yi Zichen also looked over. The person inside is awake. He wants to see you. See me? Yi Zichen couldn't help but frown. Miss Shea is awake. Elder Lin leaped up to the second floor, but Su Yen reached out and stopped him. Elder Lin, she said she wants to see the leader here, and she'll only see the leader here. In Su Yan's heart, Yi Zichen was without a doubt their leader. When Elder Lin heard this, he was startled for a moment before he slowly took 2 steps back. He acknowledged Yi Zichen's position as leader. I'll go take a look. Yi Zichen walked past Elder Lin and Su Yen into the room. In the room, the girl stood by the window and looked outside. The moment he entered the room, the door closed abruptly. Yi Zichen glanced back. This place is really beautiful. I haven't seen such a beautiful world in a long time. Yi Zichen didn't know how to respond. You're looking for me? If you're the leader here, then I'm looking for you. The girl turned around and looked Yi Zichen up and down. Human? Yi Zichen was confused. Disappointment could be seen in her eyes. Then, the girl by the window instantly appeared in front of Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen's pupils constricted despite himself. Enemy? Didn't Elder Lin know this person? Why did she attack? There was no time for Yi Zichen to think about it. Dong! Yi Zichen dodged while the girl kicked the wall of the room. His attack had failed. The girl charged towards Yi Zichen once again. So fast. The room wasn't big to begin with, so the girl attacked even more frequently. About 10 seconds later, Yi Zichen, who was just about to counterattack, subconsciously stopped as well. What do you want? Why don't you fight back? The girl tilted her head and smiled. Yi Zichen remained silent. Chapter 2044. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2039. Everyone gathered. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2045. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2040. The gap in cognitive ability. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 2046. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2041. The level of the universe secret realm. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2047. Red Packet Super, Chapter 2042. Follow me. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2048. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2043. Into the Unknown Universe. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2049. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2044. Withered Tree. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2050. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2045. The arrival of a super-rich second generation. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2051. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2046. Universe Union Bank. Currently typing. Please wait a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2052. Sir, this is the anonymous helmet you need. Sir, congratulations on successfully joining the Banao Galaxy. You are now a member of the Banao Galaxy. Sir, Yi Zichen truly felt the power of the background. It was just a simple sentence, yet the staff of Withered Tree Planet would do their best to complete it. Even if he joined the Banao Galaxy, there was no need for Yi Zichen to go in person. If you have any requests, please call me at any time. This is our Universal Network's contact number. You can also contact me there. The staff left behind a long letter, then left the room. The service is very nice, but I feel like I'm under house arrest. Yi Zichen shrugged as he looked at the spacious room in front of him. I'm just worried that something might happen to you. Shea smiled, then hurried to the entrance of the room. The goods that the staff had brought over. They were all placed in a silver safe. Yi Zichen opened the safe according to the password the staff left behind. Inside were 5 consciousness-sensing helmets. These are the helmets that connect to the Universal Network? Yi Zichen also walked over. The helmet was completely silver. It was very light. It looked a bit like a motorcycle helmet from Earth. Yi Zichen squeezed it a few times. Although he didn't use too much force, the domain-level power was still not to be underestimated. The helmet didn't deform at all. It's that hard. This helmet is made of C-grade metal. If you don't use your full strength, you won't be able to destroy it. The grade of the metal was different from the grade of the spaceship. Most of the metals on Earth belonged to the A-grade. Gold was a B-grade metal. The higher the grade of the metal, the rarer it was. The helmet was made of C-grade metal, which meant that the cost to build it was already higher than gold. That was true. An anonymous helmet cost 2,000 Withered Tree coins. That was already several years' worth of salary for many of Withered Tree Planet's lower class. This helmet is an anonymous helmet, anyone can use it. Shea held up a helmet. Under normal circumstances, you connect to the Universal Network using optical computers. You don't have one, so you can only make do with this. With that, Shea put 2 helmets on his head. Not long later. This chapter isn't over. Please continue. Then he put it down. My network number is 477-739-6654. You can contact me on the Universe Network. You can also experience the Universe Network world at the same time. Yi Zichen didn't suspect anything and put the helmet on. The scene changed. When the helmet connected to his consciousness, Yi Zichen felt like he was in an absolutely real world. The left social channel called out, "Add Saya's universe number. How do you feel?" The moment he added it, Shea sent him a message. "I'm in a beverage shop on Withered Tree Star. These are the coordinates. You can come and find me directly." It was too real. Yi Zichen couldn't help but sigh as he walked through the street. After coming to the Withered Tree Star for so long, he hadn't met many other races in the universe. In the virtual universe network, he saw countless of them. Be it the human race, the monster race, or the beastman race, the races of the universe were chatting on the streets or had hurried expressions on their faces. It was unknown what they were busy with. Following the coordinates given by Shea, Yi Zichen arrived at the drink shop she was at. "This is the virtual universe network. How is it? Doesn't it feel especially real?" Shea smiled. Yi Zichen nodded. "It was the same the first time I entered. The virtual universe network can be considered a second world. Everything here is a perfect one-to-one replica of the real world." Instant map update. If there's an extra leaf on the ground in the real world, then there's an extra leaf in the virtual world as well. Damn. So ruthless. Perfect replication and instant map update. Don't ask me everything. Go online and look it up. You can find this basic information. Sensing that Yi Zichen was about to speak, Shea said, "Internet search." Yi Zichen called out inwardly, and several search engines appeared in front of him. Just like on Earth, each search engine belonged to a different universe company. Iowa Network, Tianshan Network, Tianshan Network, Tianshan? A network company in the Tianshan Galaxy? There were even more search engines on top of it. Second World. Even more terrifying was that it was used 9,997%. In other words, search the entire network. This chapter isn't finished. Please continue. Rope pretty much took up all of its usage. Second world. It belonged to the Virtual World Corporation. After that, a full half an hour later. Heavens! Yi Zichen, who was immersed in the universe network, couldn't help but exclaim. Virtual World Corporation. A network company that encompassed the entire universe. The networks of the 6 universe countries and countless other universes were all created by the Virtual World Corporation. In other words, countless universes. All of them used the network built by their company. Who knew how much the company's income was from just the use of the network? Which universe country does this Virtual Moment Corporation belong to? Which universe country? Shea nearly laughed. Do you think a universe country can own this kind of company? The Virtual World Corporation doesn't belong to any universe country. Its position is above any universe country. Shea said. The Virtual World Corporation was established by 6 supreme experts. There are 7 other companies or organizations like this in the entire universe, and they are collectively known as the 8 giants of the universe. Ha! One of them is the Virtual World Corporation, an organization formed by 6 supreme experts. After that, there's also the Universe Union Bank, which is jointly produced by the 6 universe countries. The Pill Guild is where all the pill refiners in the universe gather. The status of pill refiners is very high no matter where they are. More importantly, you don't know what kind of huge entity stands behind them. The Artifact Hall is where the universe's artificers gather. Pretty much all the weapons in the universe come from them. The number 1 mercenary alliance in the universe, 90% of the people in the universe have accepted mercenary missions there. The Universe Union Battleground is a place for life and death battles. There, you can find any opponent you need, be it stars, astrolabes, universe, or even higher, as long as you have enough money. The Universe Energy Management Department controls the energy of the entire universe. You know about energy, right? The energy of our ships is managed by them. There's still the last one, the Supremes Association. The previous 7 giants, Shea had a detailed or simple explanation. Only the Supremes Association. The Supremes Association is the true giants. Shea's eyes were filled with seriousness. Those who can enter here, the weakest are at least at the overlord level. Their energy is incoherent, I heard. The other 7 giants are monitored by them. If you want to chat about the Red Packet server with more like-minded people, follow You Read Literature on WeChat. Chat about life, find a close friend. Chapter 2053. Managing the 7 Titans. Yi Zichen's gaze stiffened. The 7 Titans of the universe. They were already above the 6 major universe countries and many others. The supreme beings. Just what kind of existences were they? You don't need to think so much. You've only just stepped into the domain level. You still have a long way to go, said Shea. Yi Zichen naturally understood. He'd learned from the Universal Network that he was indeed at the entry level of the universe. The more he knew, the more he understood how weak he was. Oh yeah, why did we buy so many anonymous helmets? Isn't 2 enough for the 2 of us? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Are you sure you don't want your friends to come into contact with the universe? Shea chuckled softly and stretched lazily, fully displaying her graceful figure. Coming into contact with the universe early is a good thing for them. Actually, there's something I haven't told you yet. It's to take care of your emotions. What is it? Take care of my emotions? Weak? Yi Zichen already knew this. At first, he really couldn't accept it. He was the strongest expert in the Milky Way galaxy, but he was just the weakest domain level in the universe. The only work he could do was to receive guests. However, as time went by, his mentality had already been adjusted a lot. It's about your current Milky Way galaxy. Shea's expression turned solemn, then he subconsciously looked around. Your Milky Way galaxy is currently ownerless. What do you mean? Yi Zichen didn't understand. Every galaxy or cosmic country in the universe has a master. In other words, a possessor. The current Milky Way galaxy. It's actually an unregistered entity in the universe. Shea's gaze darkened. Yizichin was even more confused. Unregistered entity? Unregistered entities are not protected by cosmic countries. If anything happens, cosmic countries won't step in to punish you. If a powerhouse were to discover your galaxy at this time and find out that there is no master, he would be faced with two choices. 1. Invade. 2. Enslave. All of a sudden, Yizichin's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't maintain his calm at all. I'll go to Silver. This chapter isn't over. Please continue. When I was in the Milky Way galaxy, I discovered that in your Milky Way galaxy, other than Earth, there are many planets with life. Any life planet is extremely valuable. Let me give you an example. If there is a piece of gold on the ground and no one around saw it, and no one is the owner of this piece of gold, it simply fell from the sky. Will you choose to ignore it? Of course not. Although Yizichin didn't say anything, he understood very well. No one could resist this temptation. Even if he was a rich man. In the face of such a situation where he could pick up a piece of gold just by bending down, he would not ignore it. The present Milky Way galaxy. In the eyes of those experts, it was a piece of gold that fell from the sky. They wouldn't leave it alone. How can we avoid this situation? Yizichin couldn't allow that to happen. He couldn't allow anyone to take over the Milky Way. It would be fine if he ruled. What if it was a slave? 1. Become a starboard level and join a universe country. My suggestion is to join the universe country of the Sure Pi Now galaxy and become their outer sect manager. It would be best if you could become an internal manager. Then, apply to be the manager of the Milky Way galaxy. That way, you can openly manage the Milky Way galaxy. No matter what happens, the universe country of the Sure Pi Now galaxy will not ignore it. Starboard. Yizichin had only just reached the domain level. He was 2 whole levels away from the starboard level. That would take too much time. 2. Become a star level. At this level, you will have the right to purchase planet. You can buy the planets you want to protect and become its lord. The universe country of the Sure Pi Now galaxy will still protect you. 3. Give detailed information about the Milky Way galaxy to the Sure Pi Now galaxy and treat it as a new galaxy. This galaxy will be managed by the universe country behind the Sure Pi Now galaxy, and you will receive a bounty. Is there no other way? Yizichin didn't want to deal with this. Whether it was the stars or the starboard, they were all too far away for him. 3. Sell the galaxy to the universe country of the Sure Pi Now galaxy. That was no different from handing the galaxy over to external experts. So, the future of the Milky Way galaxy wasn't in his hands. He had no way of interfering with the remodeling or anything else. Even if it was, if this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. The Banao galaxy did not like the residents of the Milky Way galaxy. Even if they were to kill or expel them, he could not interfere. No. Shea shrugged. Then let's just buy it. Yizichin clenched his teeth. Shea, you're above the star level now. You can use your name to buy entire galaxies. We have a gold card, the money on it. It might not be enough. Shaya pursed his lips. There are only 100,000 universe credits on this gold card. Even if you want to buy a galaxy, there will be professionals to evaluate it. Life planets are the most expensive. It's fine if it's set at a low level, but if it's set at a high level, 100,000 universe credits won't be able to buy it. Besides, I can't afford it. Shea's expression was a little dejected as he smiled bitterly. I'm a bounty hunter. Why do I have to use an anonymous helmet? It's because as long as my account is connected to the network, the people of the Tsangyue system will instantly lock onto me and kill me. Purchasing a planet requires identification. I really want to help you, but I don't have a choice. Shea was born in the Milky Way. She had absolute affection for the Milky Way. Even though the current Milky Way was merely a temporary toy of the Milky Way Master. It was also the Milky Way. Just this name alone was enough to make her willing to use everything she had to protect its safety. But there was nothing she could do. She was a remnant of the Milky Way. The Tsangua system had placed a bounty on her head in all 3,080 universe countries. It could be said that the universe was filled with danger for her. She didn't know how much courage it took to return to the universe, to buy a planet. She was certain that in less than 3 hours, countless universe-level experts would lock her down. What should I do? Yi Zichen's expression was pained. Of course you have to work hard to become stronger, Shea smiled. When you reach the star level, you can buy a planet. But I don't have any money. The Milky Way's money was completely useless here. Universe credits. That was an extremely high amount. 100,000 universe credits was already an astronomical amount. If that wasn't enough, Yi Zichen had no idea where he could get more. You don't have to worry about money. Suddenly, Shea's eyes revealed a hint of a smile. When you reach the astrolabe level, you'll naturally have money. If Yi Zichen wanted to chat with more like-minded people in the Red Packet server, he would follow Yuwa Literature on WeChat. Chat about life and find a bosom friend. Chapter 2054. Money would naturally come? Yi Zichen looked at Shea in confusion. Before long, Shea's consciousness faded from the network. Yi Zichen guessed that some things couldn't be said over the network, so he closed the virtual universe and logged out. Shea, what did you mean? Take a look for yourself. With that, a crystalline Rubik's Cube appeared in Shea's hands. When the cube landed in Yi Zichen's hands, boom, his sea of consciousness pierced through. It was a dilapidated ruin. On top of the ruins sat a man who was covered in blood and had an exhausted expression. Behind him, and countless giant corpses. From their appearance, Yi Zichen guessed that they were experts from another universe. Hello, Yi Zichen. At that moment, the man in the image turned around and met Yi Zichen's eyes. Don't be surprised. I knew about you a long time ago. You are one of the 2 reasons I stayed in the Milky Way galaxy. Since you saw me, that means my descendant failed. Mill Master, Yi Zichen shouted. Unfortunately, this was only an image. The Milky Way Master couldn't communicate with him. Everything is as you can see. I'm on the run. The Milky Way Master shrugged with a smile, then kicked the cosmic expert beside him. We won't be able to meet for real for a while. During this time, I hope you can protect the Milky Way galaxy. As a native. How laughable. My Milky Way galaxy is actually a native, said the Milky Way Master self-deprecatingly. Sorry, I was just lamenting. You're a native, so you've never received universal education. I don't have any universal resources. In order to help you flourish in the universe, I've left you a great gift. When you break through to Star, Astrolabe, Universe, a password will automatically appear in your mind. You can use it to go to the Universal Union Bank and obtain the treasure I left for you. Don't worry, Planet Tsangua won't find out. Work hard, young man. I hope we both survive. I'll treat you to a drink then. The image stopped. The Rubik's Cube dimmed, and Yi Zichen returned to reality. That person just now. Was he the Milky Way Master? That's him. Shea took back the Tesseract. You can rest assured now. The resources he left for you are enough to buy a planet, provided that you can reach the star rank. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. To the Cosmos School. Earth. This is an anonymous sensor helmet. Yi Zichen placed the helmet on the table. Before leaving Withered Tree Planet, he'd bought 20 more. It was meant to be available for everyone to use. This was created by the Virtual World Corporation. Your consciousness can enter the Virtual Universe Network. There are tutorials on how to become a domain on the internet. You guys can study there. Once you reach the domain level, you'll be qualified to obtain a universe identity. At that time, you'll be able to freely go out into the universe. The people in the living room nodded heavily. These, with a wave of his hand, many pills and rare treasures appeared in the living room. These are the resources I've prepared for you. Use these resources to break through to the domain realm as soon as possible. These resources cost Yi Zichen a total of 4 billion pine coins. That was 50,000 universe dollars. He'd used up half of the funds on his gold card. Xiaoya had recommended all the resources. Yi Zichen bought everything she thought was useful. There was no point in being a one-man hero. He wanted everyone to step forward. Only then would the Milky Way galaxy be truly strong. This is Violet Rain. Elder Lin, who'd once lived in the universe, was stunned. This stuff was extremely expensive. Normal people really couldn't afford it. The large barrel in front of him weighed at least a few hundred kilograms. That's right. Violet Rain. It was insanely expensive. Most of the reason he'd spent so much money was because of the Violet Rain. What's Violet Rain? The great sage arched his brows. I'll tell you this, said Elder Lin. 10 grams of Violet Rain is enough for an ordinary person to reach the general level. If you're talented enough, around 1,000 grams is enough to reach the monarch level. What? The great emperors in the living room were stunned. They were all monarchs. They were already peak existences. 10 grams was enough to reach the general level. 1,000 grams was enough to reach the monarch level. Elder Lin, it's good that you recognize these resources. From now on, you'll distribute them. Yi Zichen looked at the resources. This is the most I can do for you. I just hope that these resources can help you develop a few domains. 50,000 universe dollars. Yi Zichen had made up his mind. This chapter isn't over. Please continue. We understand. The great emperors nodded solemnly. Although Yi Zichen hadn't said anything to them after returning, they could sense the change in his mood. But from his words, everyone could feel the change in his emotions. He was desperate. He desperately wanted everyone to become strong. Then what are you going to do? After a while, Su Yan spoke up. She silently looked at Yi Zichen. She had a feeling that he was going to leave. He wouldn't be able to return for a long time. I'm going to leave the Milky Way galaxy. How long? I don't know. This time, Yi Zichen had to stay in the universe until he reached the star level. At the very least, he had to be at the star level. Only if he could buy a planet would he return from the universe. Perhaps a few decades, perhaps a few hundred years, or perhaps a few thousand years. These were all unknowns. It all depended on his talent. Do we have to go? Su Yan bit her lips. They'd finally returned to Earth. They'd lived a normal life for less than 2 years. We have to go. Yi Zichen couldn't even look Su Yan in the eye. Not too long ago, he'd promised to go sightseeing with Su Yan and Kiki during the holidays, to see the most beautiful places on Earth. He might not be able to fulfill these promises in the near future. Sorry. Yi Zichen kissed Su Yan's forehead, then stepped out. Xiaoya waited for him at the door with her arms crossed. I'll be back soon. Actually, even if I'm not in the Milky Way galaxy, we can still meet in the virtual world. Lu Jing, I'm warning you. Cultivate well. You're very talented. Don't read those dirty comics every day. Kiki, don't get addicted to virtual games. Everyone, you have to cultivate hard. It's about time. We have to go, said Xiaoya. Yi Zichen nodded solemnly, then looked at everyone in the room. I look forward to our meeting in the universe. Yi, be careful. Emperor Star. Everyone in the living room revealed looks of reluctance. Yi Zichen let out a deep sigh, then walked towards the spaceship outside. Destination confirmed, Blue River Planet. Time required. 76 days, 17 hours, 24 minutes. About to jump through space. If you want to chat about the Red Packet server with more like-minded people, follow You Will Literature on WeChat. Chat about life and find friends. Chapter 2055. Wow, a Class 3 spaceship. So cool. After my coming-of-age ceremony, my dad will also give me a Class 3 spaceship. Landing location confirmed, landing in progress. The long spacetime journey was over. Yizichin looked at the world outside the spaceship and smiled. This was the Blue River Star. The Blue River Star was also part of the Banao Galaxy. It was also a habitable planet. It was just that its level was slightly higher than that of Withered Tree Star. The manager of the Blue River Galaxy was at the pinnacle of the planar chart, a general-level powerhouse. There were still 6 astrolabe managers on the planet. There were thousands of experts above the star realm. The galaxy was about 10 times the size of Earth. The number of residents was around 30 billion. It was a relatively large habitable planet. According to the virtual network, an academy on the Blue River planet was about to open. Thus Yizichin and Shaya arrived. "Let's go, my young master." Shaya seemed to have fallen in love with her identity as an attendant. She had been a bodyguard on Withered Tree Star for a few days, and it was the same on Blue River Star. "Open the door." After a long period of contact, the relationship between the two had improved a lot. Yizichin joked while Shaya kicked him. "Drive it yourself." Yizichin twitched his mouth, then opened the door. "Look, someone is coming down from above." Countless humans looked at Yizichin. There was no other way. Level 3 spaceships were indeed rare in a galaxy like the Pineo Galaxy. In some rich galaxies, 3 might be very common. Here, this was the synonym for the top rich second generation. "I think he's quite handsome." "Humans." "There's a beauty following behind him." The surrounding young men and women discussed. The men talked about Shaya, while the women talked about Yizichin. Humph. Sensing those men's gazes, Shaya furrowed her brows and snorted angrily. In an instant, the surrounding people were stunned. Star astrolabe rank. Before leaving Withered Tree Planet, Yizichin bought quite a few resources for Shaya's recovery. In Shaya's words, she had recovered less than 30%. Level 7 Astrolabe Realm. According to this level, Shaya's peak should have been above the universe level. Astrolabe level. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Why are you here? Heavens, could it be that brat's bodyguard? That brat seems to have just reached the domain stage. I don't understand. How could my goddess be a guard? Yizichin grinned as countless men complained. Extraordinary charm. A bunch of dumb dogs. After staying with Yizichin for a long time, Shaya learned quite a bit of Earth's swear words. "Honorable sir, are you here to apply for admission?" "Yes." Yizichin nodded. During this period of time, Shaya had given him a lot of training. He was not a native of the Milky Way galaxy. He was a super-rich second generation sent by a certain family. No matter who he faced, even if it was an expert. Of course, if it wasn't a super expert, then it would be someone like Xing Chun or Xing Pan. He had to be absolutely calm. In his eyes, Xing Chun and Xing Pan were nothing. In his family, Xing Chun and Xing Pan were at most servants who looked after the house. Yizichin remembered. Even so, Zhang Xian still felt his heart palpitating when he saw the old man before him. Level 9 Star. Half-step astrolabe. "May I ask, do you think I need to go to school?" Shaya said coldly. "Our young master wants to apply for admission. Hurry up and do it. Our young master is tired from his journey and needs to rest." Understood, understood. The elder led the way. "This way, please." It really is a guard. My God, a star-level guard. Just where did this person come from? Rich second generation, I like it. Among the young men and women, a coquettish woman smiled. F***CK, why are they applying first? I've waited here for 2 hours already, the boorish man roared angrily. Shut up. Didn't you see that he came in Spaceship 3? F***CK, so what if he's rich? That's right, so what if he's rich? The young men and women outside muttered, but at most, they could only complain. They still had to wait outside. Sir, may I ask what kind of admission you would like to apply for? The elder led Yi Zichen and Shea to an independent office. After Yi Zichen sat down, a beautiful mermaid? Yi Zichen saw a few rainbow-colored scales on the staff member. The beauty placed a drink on the table, then left while swaying her hip. Before she left, she even gave Yi Zichen a flirtatious look. So bold. Yi Zichen muttered in his heart. Shea twitched her mouth. Flirting. Sir. This chapter is not finished. Please turn the page. Oh, may I ask what kind of admission options are there? Yi Zichen retracted his gaze and asked the elder. There are 3. The first is for in-name students. You need to pay 20,000 Blue River dollars, which is 20 pine dollars. The school will provide normal education for a maximum of 3 years. The second is for entry students. You need to pay 800,000 Blue River dollars, which is 800 pine dollars. Apart from providing normal education, the school will provide special astrolabe level teachers to teach every month. There is no limit to the study time. The third is for core students. You need to pay 400,000 Blue River dollars, which is 4,000 pine dollars. The school will provide elite education. They will provide dorms, and you can question any teacher in the school at any time. A special astrolabe will come to teach every 7 days. There is no limit to the study time. There were 3 different modes. The difference in the amount of tuition fees was like heaven and earth. There was also a huge difference in the quality of the teachers. Normal students were taught by some astrolabe level teachers, while entry students were taught by astrolabe level teachers. As for core students, they were taught by a universe level teacher. I choose the third one. 4,000 pine dollars was less than 1 universe dollar. Yi Zichen still had more than 20,000 universe dollars on his gold card, which was enough for him to use for a short period of time. May I ask how many years you will be paying for? About 20 years. Yi Zichen took out his gold card. 1 universe dollar could be exchanged for 80,000 pine dollars. Exactly 1 every 20 years. When Yi Zichen took out his gold card, the elder's eyes opened wide. Universe Union Bank gold card. Sir, 1 universe dollar has been deducted from you. When he said this, the old man's voice trembled. He had already noticed Yi Zichen and company when the ship was about to land. He thought that he would definitely be able to get some benefits from them, even if it was just some spare change. Who would have thought they would use universe dollars? The official channel for exchanging universe dollars for pine dollars was 80,000. However, under normal circumstances, universe dollars for pine dollars was around 8,400 to 8,600. He earned around 500 pine dollars in an instant. I won't be going to the other trivial matters of school. I'll let you handle them for me. No problem, of course not. The elder nodded, then took out a name card from the universe safe. Respected Mr. Yi Zichen, from now on, you are a core student of our Blue River Academy. Welcome. End of this chapter. Chapter 2056. Core students truly aren't normal. This dormitory is basically a small mansion, right? Yi Zichen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows as he looked at the luxurious dormitory. He had noticed that the new students were all in a dormitory. It was a collective dormitory. Think about your tuition fee. It's 4,000 Barao dollars. How many people wouldn't be able to save that even after living frugally for 100 years? I feel like it's a waste for such a crappy mansion. Shea twitched her mouth, then walked into the mansion and chose a room. I'll live here. You live here as well? Then where am I going? Shea glared. Yi Zichen didn't say anything for a long time. All right, indeed, if she didn't live here, then she would be homeless. Pretend I didn't say anything. Yi Zichen shrugged, then sat on the chair in the living room. There was an official school start time at the entrance, as well as a change in class time. Star level classes, astrolabe level classes, universe level classes. Yi Zichen's focus was on the universe level. Shea mentioned it. The lessons for the star and astrolabe levels were actually very ordinary. Universe level was an existence that truly possessed the origin of the universe. Their classes were more profound, and the effects of improvement were also higher. Mr. Yi Zichen. At that moment, the elder that handled Yi Zichen's admission appeared outside his mansion. 3 beautiful women followed behind him, along with 6-star level and above experts. What's more, there was even an astrolabe level expert. Mr. Fei. Yi Zichen walked out, while Shea followed closely behind. This is the benefit that core students enjoy. These 3 shell planet girls will take care of your daily needs for the next 20 years. You can order them around if you need anything in life. Anything. The elder emphasized, anything. F***ck, why did you emphasize the word, anything, so much? It's very easy for people to misunderstand. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment, then looked towards the 3 shell planet beauties and noticed that their faces had turned red. Damn. This anything, it can't be that it includes that kind of service, right? That's way too exciting. The school actually provides this kind of service? Aren't they afraid of the police coming to arrest them? This is Mr. Yi Zichen. This chapter isn't over, please continue. You can call him Mr. Yi from now on. Mr. Yi. The 3 beauties bowed slightly, while their gentle tone caused Yi Zichen's bones to soften. These are your guards. Mr. Fei pointed to the remaining men. Lu Li, he is the captain of your bodyguards. Astrolabe 3rd Dan. The others are all at the star realm. Mr. Yi. Lu Li was an alien with a horn on his head and a red body. He was more than 2 meters tall and had a sturdy physique. The muscles all over his body exuded explosive power. Lu Li is a martial artist. The Red Lion tribe has always been favored by power. Even a 6th-stage astrolabe martialist would find it difficult to take advantage of them. Yi Zichen nodded in response to Mr. Fei's kind explanation. Every race in the universe had their own talent. Yi Zichen understood all of this in the virtual network. For example, the Red Lion race was born as a god general in the Milky Way. When they reached adulthood, they would become stars. And this was a person with trash talent. For those with better talent, like Lu Li, breaking through to the astrolabe realm wouldn't be a problem. More importantly, they had the gift of strength. Their bloodline power could increase their strength, roughly 2 to 3 times that of a normal race. Planet Shell. Their gift was their look. Planet Shell was publicly recognized as a race of handsome men and beautiful women. Unfortunately, their beauty did not have the corresponding strength. If nothing unexpected happened, the people of Shell would end up as the playthings of some major power or rich person. There were very few who could live a normal life. There was no helping it. They were too beautiful. There would always be people who wanted to possess them. The guards led by Lu Li all bowed towards Yi Zichen. From now on, they would belong to Yi Zichen. In the next 20 years, they will take care of you and protect you. Although our Blue River Cosmos Academy's level isn't high, we will do our best to satisfy all of the students' needs. Thank you, Mr. Fei. This is what I should do. After doing all of that, Mr. Fei left the mansion. Yi Zichen looked at the shell beauties in front of him, and the guards in front of him. Then he looked towards Shea. I am young Master Yi Zichen's personal guard, Shea. Shea swept his gaze over the people in front of the mansion. All of a sudden, if this chapter wasn't finished, please continue. They could feel the power of an astrolabe lingering around them. Even the guard captain, Lu Li, was shocked. He didn't expect Yi Zichen to actually have an astrolabe-level personal guard. Fruit plates were the heirs of a large family. No wonder Mr. Fei had to remind them. From now on, I will be your manager. If you agree, then come in. The universe was a place where the strong were respected. The shell beauties were only at the domain stage, while the strongest among them, Lu Li, was only at the 3rd stage. How could they have any objections? Shea stepped aside from the entrance. The three shell beauties began to tidy up the mansion, while the other guards stood around the mansion to keep watch. Not bad. Only then did Shea nod. If I felt like I was losing out earlier, then it's pretty worth it now. 5 stars and 1 astrolabe guard. That's about $2,000 a year. Also, these 3 women from Shell Planet are very pretty. Even I feel good when I see them. I'm going to continue healing. If you want to take a stroll, Wang Yao said. If you want to walk around, then I'll have those idiots go with you. With that, Shea returned to her room. With that, she would use her resources to treat her injuries. Yi Zichen stood at the entrance. All of a sudden, he didn't know how he could get better. Hello, is anyone here? At that moment, a charmingly naive little fatty walked out from outside Yi Zichen's mansion. A human. You are, haha, I'm your neighbor, and also a core student. My name is Bal. Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen invited Bal into the mansion. Bale's guards stayed outside to keep watch. Wow, it's actually a shell beauty. Bale's eyes widened the moment he entered. Brother Yi, did you bring this yourself? Assigned by the school. Why? Bal looked up to the sky and roared, why are you a beauty from Shell Star, but I have 3 aunties from Leo Star. Fortunately, the little fatty quickly adjusted his emotions. He looked around the villa twice. Brother Yi, have you toured this planet? Not yet. Haha, I haven't either. Bale's eyes revealed excitement. Are you interested? Let's go out for a walk. I asked around for plenty of fun places before coming. End of this chapter. Chapter 2057. Yi Zichen didn't know if Bal came to school or to travel. It was as if he had made a complete guide to the Blue River Star. He had memorized all the historical sites and tourist attractions of the Blue River Star. An entire week, Yi Zichen followed behind him, and really did manage to play most of Blue River Planet. Blue River is still too small, there are too few places to play. Are you even speaking like a human? You've had more fun than anyone else this week. You like playing a lot? Who doesn't? Bal asked. Let me put it this way. My dream is to be able to play all 308 universe countries. What's going on? Didn't Shaya say that everyone in the universe worked hard? Even the heirs of large families worked harder than others. Do you feel like I'm not working hard? Yi Zichen merely smiled and didn't say anything. That was Bale's business, Yi Zichen couldn't care less. Who would be willing to work hard if they could be a rich kid? Bal seemed to say it very casually, but Yi Zichen could feel a hint of unwillingness in his tone. Just how do you do things? Suddenly, an angry roar sounded out from the drinks shop. Not far away, a girl from Planet Shell continuously apologized to the man and woman in front of her with a tray. It seems like it was the girl who spilled the drink on the young man. Do you know how much my battle uniform costs? The young man's eyes were filled with anger as he pointed at a stain on his pure silver armor. Sir, I'll help you clean it right now. The girl from the Shell clan carefully held a clean towel and wanted to step forward. F***ck off. The young man pushed the girl away. The huge force caused blood to flow from the corner of the girl's mouth. Pitiful. Bal muttered silently. Sir, the manager of the drinks shop walked out. Seeing that, Yi Zichen also let out a sigh of relief. With the manager here, there shouldn't be any problems with the girl. You think she's safe? Suddenly Bal chuckled. Just watch, this manager won't care about her. Brother Yi, the universe is very cold. Manager. The girl bit her lips. The manager signaled that she was fine, then looked towards the young man in front of her. Sir, I wonder how our waiter offended you. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. B6 armor, 90 million Bernal dollars. I bought it less than 2 hours ago and this idiot dirted it. In an instant, the manager's expression changed drastically. After that, he moved to the side. Sir, please. This action of his meant that he would no longer interfere in this matter. He didn't care about the Shell snail girl. He would not interfere. This is the universe. No one will cause unnecessary trouble for a stranger. All they can do is watch coldly from the sidelines. That kind of coldness makes one's heart turn cold. Bar whispered. The young girl looked at the manager in fear. Die. Luri. Boom! When the long blade in the young man's hand was about to fall on the girl's body, Luri had already gone to the girl's side and shattered the youth's long blade. Are you all right? Yizichin squatted in front of the girl. The girl bit her lip and was momentarily speechless. My B3 battle sword. The young man looked at the broken blade in horror. B3 grade. In other words, it was forged with B grade 3 materials. It was also worth a lot. Being able to produce this meant that the young man's family was pretty decent. Was there a need? Didn't she just dirted your armor? Was there a need to kill her? Actually, Yizichin didn't want to care about this. He was weak and had just arrived in the universe. If he could, he wanted to avoid trouble as much as possible. But when he saw the young girl, he couldn't help it. He couldn't ignore the coldness of the people around him. Planet Shell. Just like the current Milky Way galaxy. It was at the mercy of others. Because if one was weak, they had to die. Who are you? You don't need to know who I am. I can compensate you for your sword and armor. Just you. Yes, just me. Yizichin took out the gold card and looked at the young man in front of him. How much? Tell me. Universe gold card. Everyone else in the beverage shop was stunned. The young man also stared at the gold card in Yizichin's hand. Do you have to mind your own business? When he saw the universe gold card in Yizichin's hand, the young man lost all of his previous stubbornness. Everyone knew what the universe gold card represented. This chapter is not finished. Please turn the page. Is that so? The moment Yizichin took out the gold card, it already proved his identity and status. So what if I kill her? It's the law of the jungle. She deserves to die because she's weak. There are no experts on her planet. The entire planet is filled with lowly people. So what if I kill her? Suddenly Yizichin laughed. Luri, kill him. I'll take responsibility for anything that happens. Yizichin said. A sword instantly appeared in Luri's hand. What are you going to do? Kill you. Yizichin looked into the young man's eyes. You taught me that the weak deserve to be killed. Now that I'm stronger than you, I'll get my Buddhist guards to kill you. So what? I'm a citizen of the universe. Killing me is against the law. But she isn't? Yizichin pointed at the young man and roared at him. Why are we both citizens of the universe? You can kill her, but I can't kill you. Why? Does a race deserve to die because there are no experts? Is that how it works? Why? Why does the entire race have to be slaughtered by others when there are no experts? The universe is too cold. Yizichin, who was cold, felt a bit afraid. He was truly afraid that the girl's identity would be changed to someone from the Milky Way, or an Earthling. Just because of a small matter, she's going to be killed. Yizichin definitely could not allow that to happen. Definitely not. Kill him. Yizichin clenched his teeth and roared. Nobody in the entire beverage store dared to interfere. I apologize. Don't kill me. The young man knelt onto the ground with a thud, while his eyes were filled with terror. I apologize. I was wrong. I repent. Seeing that Yizichin ignored him, the young man crawled in front of the girl. I was wrong. Forgive me. The girl looked at Yizichin. If you want him to die, then he must die today, Yizichin said silently. The young man was so scared that he couldn't help but kowtow. I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Never mind, the girl bit her lips. The girl bit her lips. Yizichin let out a deep breath. F***ck off. Yes, yes, yes. The young man's face was filled with panic as he frantically ran backwards. However, the moment he got behind Yizichin, go die. The young man suddenly took out a crimson crystal from his bosom and crushed it fiercely. Go die, go die. End of the chapter. Chapter 2058. F***CK, B-grade Fire Elemental Energy Crystal. F***CK. Bar's eyelids twitched. Capture him for me, Mr. Yi. Luri was also horrified. His mission was to ensure Yi Zichen's safety. Die. The young man's eyes were filled with madness. The damage caused by the self-detonation of a B-grade fire elemental energy crystal was definitely not something a domain level could withstand. Who cares about the universe gold card? Who cared about the family behind him? He must die. Boom! Violent energy was released. The whole ice cream shop was blown to pieces. Protect. Bar clenched his teeth and clapped his arms, protecting himself and his guards. Brother Yi, during this time, he was still walking towards the center of the energy. Burp, I'm so full. Amidst the flames, the 5 elemental spirits patted their round bellies and burped. Someone's coming, run. The fire elemental sprite returned to Yi Zichen's arm. Brother Yi. I'm here. Yi Zichen waved his hand. In his mind, however, he was recalling the scene just now. The fire elemental sprite swallowed the explosion. After devouring it, he felt as if his strength had increased to a certain extent. F***CK, you're still alive. Bar's face was full of surprise, but he immediately nodded in understanding. That's right. You even have the universe gold card. It's impossible that your family didn't give you some defensive treasures. Speaking of which, you're really something. You even have a universe gold card. For the past week, you've been eating and drinking from me. Aren't you ashamed? Didn't you say you were rich? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth, then frowned. Where's that kid? Outside. I have to get caught by him. Let's talk outside. The two of them left the center of the fire side by side. The cold drink shop outside had already been blown to pieces. Mr. Yi. Luri rushed over in a hurry. When he saw that Yi Zichen was fine, he let out a sigh of relief. Mr. Yi, it was my dereliction of duty just now. I was too careless. Luoli didn't expect that the young man would hide so deeply. He had clearly acted like he was scared to death, but in the end, he took out the fire elemental crystal stone. Just be careful in the future. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Benefactor. The girl bit her lips. Yi Zichen smiled warmly at her, then looked towards the young man. Impossible, it's impossible for you to not die. Impossible. The young man shook his head vigorously. Bar stepped forward and gave him a kick. Idiot, my brother even has the universe gold card. Do you think your elemental crystal stones can kill him? With that, Bar walked back to Yi Zichen's side. Don't kill him. Why? Since this young man wanted to kill him, Yi Zichen wanted to kill him. This kid is not simple. Bar whispered into Yi Zichen's ear. B-class armor, weapons, and elemental crystal stones. The family behind him must have some power. It will be troublesome to kill him. You think I can't touch you? Of course not. Bal grinned. Bar naturally did not think that Yi Zichen would have any trouble killing a rich second generation who had a universe gold card at the domain level. I know you have a family behind you, but we can actually kill him through normal means. Don't worry, leave it to me. I definitely won't let him live. F***CK, you killed my friend in front of me, Bar. You're seeking death. As soon as he finished speaking, Bar took out a communicator from his pocket. In less than 3 minutes, young master. An old man abruptly appeared in the shop. Universe level. Everyone near the drink shop opened their eyes wide. Investigate who is behind this guy. He actually wanted to kill me and my friend just now. He wanted to kill young master. The elder's gaze darkened. That's right, Bar said with a serious expression. I'll leave this to you. 1 week. No, I want this young man dead within 3 days. Understood. The elder directly grabbed the young man and left, while Bar returned to his usual mischievous expression. Ha ha, done. This brat will definitely die within 3 days. The family behind him definitely won't even dare to fart. Universe level. Yi Zichen was still immersed in his shock. The appearance of the elder, it was as if the entire world belonged to him. Especially the elder's eyes. It was as if he could see through everything. How should we deal with that girl? That guy's family doesn't dare to mess with us, but that girl probably won't be so lucky. Bar indicated towards the girl. How about letting her follow me? I'll definitely treat her well. F***ck off. If this chapter doesn't end, please flip the page. Think about life with your lion woman properly. Yi Zichen pushed Bar's head away. Benefactor. The girl bit her lips and walked over. Yi Zichen glanced at her. Come with me. F***ck, you're too greedy. You already have 3 shell girls at home, can't you give one to me? No. With that, Yi Zichen looked at the girl once again. You heard it, I have 3 shell planet people at home. They're all your people, so they should be easy to get along with. Alright. Yi Zichen returned to the mansion while Bar complained. When they parted, Bar didn't forget to give Yi Zichen a middle finger. Lil you. The moment Yi Zichen entered the mansion, a beauty from Shell Planet, who was working, ran towards the girl. Big sister Yer. So there's someone I know here. Yi Zichen rubbed his nose. Your ability to flirt is pretty good. No wonder you have so many women. You've only been gone for a few days, and you already brought back a beauty from Shell Planet. Shaya appeared out of nowhere and muttered in a low voice. You've recovered? Bullshit, Saya stretched lazily. How can it be so easy to recover from the damage to my origin energy? You don't seem to be in a good mood. What? Did you run into some problems? Yi Zichen shrugged, then told her what happened. Saya smiled wryly after hearing that. That's how the universe is. Her wry smile contained a hint of helplessness and hatred. Back when the Milky Way was attacked, none of the Alliance star systems offered any help. That was the universe. It was so cold that it chilled one's heart. So, just work hard to increase your strength. When you reach the universe level, your Milky Way won't be taken advantage of by anyone. Universe level, that's too far away. However, Yi Zichen just found a way to increase his strength. Do you know about elemental crystal stones? I do, what about it? Saya raised her eyebrows. They're pretty expensive. The higher the level, the more expensive they are. They're very good for attacking and saving lives. Can you absorb them? Yi Zichen asked. How is that possible? Those things are used to hit people, not to eat. I seem to be able to absorb elemental crystal stones. I said I seem to be able to absorb elemental crystal stones to increase my strength. Go F***ck yourself. Saya cursed. End of this chapter. Chapter 2059. Red Packet Server Chapter 2054. The one and only elemental spirit. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update. Chapter 2060. Elemental Spirit. Born at the beginning of the universe. During the primal universe period, the universe space had not yet stabilized. 8 elemental spirits appeared in the universe. Fire, water, wind, thunder, and lightning. The 5 elements of heaven. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Earth 5 elements. Water and fire coexisted in heaven and earth. Among the 5 elements of heaven and earth, fire and water were the top 2, and they were the elder siblings among the elemental spirit. The elemental spirits were the leaders of the universe's element. The king of the element. The 8 elemental spirits performed their respective duties. After that, the universe gave birth to time, space, light, darkness, kindness. Evil elves also existed in these 6 areas. It could be said that the universe elves were the final representative. They controlled everything in the universe. Since the elemental spirits were the kings of the elements in the universe could not harm them. Having an elemental spirit meant that one would be immune to element. Even at the universe country leader level, elemental attacks still troubled them. If possible, who wouldn't want to have an elemental spirit that could make them immune to the elements? Yizichin was so shocked that he couldn't speak for a long time. The elemental spirits were actually so invincible. He had the elemental spirits of the 5 elements, which meant that he was immune to all attacks of the 5 elements. To his surprise, there were other elves as well. Yizichin could understand space and time. Good, evil, he actually had both of them. The Master of the Galaxy has such a high status in the universe. Half of it is because he has the 5 elements elemental spirit. I didn't expect. Shea moved her lips but didn't finish her sentence. He actually left the 5 elements elemental spirits to the forged Milky Way. He believed it just like that. Could the Milky Way he forged fight back? The future of the Milky Way is in your hands. Shea, who had never truly thought highly of Yizichin, suddenly sighed silently. Previously, in Shea's eyes, Yizichin was only slightly talented. Even though he was weak, he had to admit it. In the Milky Way created by the Milky Way, a primitive galaxy like that, to be able to cultivate to the domain level and break through the shackles was really a talent. Not even mentioning the top geniuses of the 308 universe countries. In a universe country, if the Milky Way galaxy he lived in was the Milky Way galaxy of the past, he would definitely be one of the young generation that couldn't be ignored. Even so, Sasha, if this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. In Yu's eyes, he still only thought that he could be groomed. However, the moment Yizichin brought the elemental fairy out, Yizichin's eyes widened. She had to take back her disdain. The fact that the Master of the Galaxy had left behind the 5 elemental spirits proved that he had placed all his chips on the forging of the galaxy. This time, the Master of the Galaxy could not lose. The Milky Way could not lose either. I will assist you wholeheartedly in the future. I will tell you everything I know. A solemn look flashed across Shea's face. At that moment, Yizichin had become their only hope. Or maybe the only hope. This sudden heavy atmosphere felt a little weird. Haha, I was just trying to stir up your emotions and you actually took it seriously. Shaya suddenly grinned and laughed. You better train hard in the future. If you dare to be lazy, I'll beat you up. I'm sleepy, go to sleep. Shea swaggered into the room. Yizichin was confused. Then can I swallow elemental crystal stones? Yes. Where can I buy it? Virtual network. Dong, Saya's door was slammed shut. Benefactor, here's your juice. The shell planet beauty that Yizichin had saved walked over with a cup of cosmic juice. Yizichin had noticed that she had been struggling in the kitchen for a long time. Even now, the shell planet beauties were still cheering her on. Thank you. Yizichin put down the juice with a smile and looked at the shell planet beauty. How is it? Are you used to living here? Yes, the shell planet girl smiled. Benefactor, you have big sis and clansmen here. This is like home. That's good. Yizichin nodded. I still don't know your name. I'm Bayu. What a nice name. Bayu blushed. Yizichin took a sip of juice. Ugh, fine. Even now, he still couldn't get used to the strange taste of cosmic drink. Can you tell me about your parents? Parents? Bayu blinked. My parents are from Shell Planet, a very beautiful planet. On the planet, half an hour passed. Bayu described her parents in great detail. Even if Yizichin didn't see them in person, the planet would still appear in his mind. If this chapter doesn't end, please continue. Their appearance: green grasslands, clear lake water, a rainbow-like forest. The planet was 10 times the size of Earth, and had a population of around 50 billion. Unfortunately, it was such a beautiful planet. It was a slave planet. Shell planet people reach the divine general level after they mature. Since it was a slave planet, Shell planet people had to face 2 problems after they mature. Wait to be sold, or work to redeem their freedom. The owner of the planet gave Shell Planet people 100 years. In these 100 years, no matter what methods they used, they had to earn 20,000 Baneo dollars. Then they could regain their freedom. If they couldn't, then they would still be sold. The slave owner didn't have to worry about the person who left the planet not returning. He would implant a slave chip in the slave's body. If they didn't return after 100 years, the slave owner only needed to think about it, and the slave with the chip implanted would die. Is this where the chip implanted is? Yizichin found a chip on the back of the Shell Planet girl's neck. Yes. The Shell Planet girl pursed her lips. You came because your older sister told you to beg me to redeem you, right? 20,000 Baneo dollars. However, it was an astronomical figure for Shell Planet people like them who had no one to rely on. 100 years. It seemed like the slave owner gave them hope. However, after they started working, all they got was despair. Divine general level. They couldn't even reach domain. How good could the work they did be? Since Yizichin was able to become a core student in Blue River Academy, 2,000 Baneo dollars shouldn't be much in the eyes of the Shell Planet girls. Yes. The Shell Planet girl bit her lips. What did they tell you to do? Older sister told me to serve you. She said that you are a kind person. If I follow you, do you want to? Bayu bit her lips again and shook her head. Benefactor, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that I don't want to. I actually can. It's just that. Bayu stuttered for a long time, unable to speak clearly. Yizichin reached out his hand with a smile and patted Bayu's head. Do you want to become strong? Strong. Yes, become an expert that can protect your race's planet, and allow your race to be able to live equally with any other race in this universe. End of this chapter. Chapter 2061. Do you want it? Yizichin stared at Bayu's eyes. He didn't know why, but deep down, he wanted to give her a chance. Maybe we are in the same boat. Yizichin thought about the future of the Milky Way galaxy when he saw Bayu's situation in the beverage shop. Or maybe it was the girl's eyes. When the manager chose not to intervene, her eyes were not filled with despair. It was indignation. That kind of unwillingness contained too much. He was not willing to die like this. He was not willing to be trampled upon. Bayu did not reply immediately. She pursed her lips as if considering. Yizichin needed her consideration. If he had directly said that he wanted to, it would have been more of an impulse and an urge to seize the opportunity. I think, after a long time, Bayu pursed her lips and raised her head. Her clear blue eyes met Yizichin's without any hint of evasion. She had decided. All right. Yizichin let out a deep breath. You go and contact your slave master. You and the other 3 people from Shellstar, I will buy your freedom. I'll pay for your 20 years of core student tuition. I have money, but my resources are limited. 20 years is the greatest support I can give you. As for how much you can grow in these 20 years, it will depend on your own efforts. Bayu bit her lip and kowtowed 3 times. Bayu, will definitely not let you down. Go ahead. I'll handle the admission procedures for you tomorrow. You can contact the slave owners. He stroked Bayu's little head. Thus, Yizichin directly returned to his room on the 2nd floor. Sister. The girls downstairs burst into tears. Yizichin smiled, then shook his head and put on the virtual network helmet. A few universe coins was still acceptable to him. Give Bayu a chance. It was not a loss. The first thing Yizichin did after entering the virtual network was search for elemental crystals. Elemental crystals. It was wrapped in a thin film of cosmic energy and compressed and condensed elemental energy into a product. Cosmic energy. This meant that elemental crystals had to be at least at the universe level to be made. He flipped through the prices. F***CK, you're killing me. Yizichin couldn't help but curse. A grade fire elemental energy crystal. 50 universe credits. B grade fire elemental energy crystal. 200 universe dollars. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Grade Fire Elemental Energy Crystal. 1,000 Universe Dollars. Friends, this was Universe Dollars. If converted to Pine Dollars, rank A would cost 4 million Pine Dollars. Check the other elemental crystals. Water, wind, earth, metal, wood. That's more like it. These few types of elemental crystals were priced at 1/10 of the fire elemental crystals. Fire. The attack power was stronger and the price was more expensive. Then, he checked the lightning and lightning, farewell. This was not something a human could afford. The price of the electric elemental energy crystal was the same as the fire elemental energy crystal. Lightning elemental crystal. 2 times. It was twice as much. Who could afford it? His family had a mine. Xiaohua. What happened? The fire elemental fairy appeared in Yi Zichen's Sea of Consciousness. The elemental explosion just now, is that your limit after devouring it? Tisk, that bit of fire element isn't even enough for me to start eating meat. I was wrong. This was AF * King Bottomless Pit. Are you willing to eat it? I'm willing. The fire elemental sprite was a little excited. After devouring those fire elements, I feel like I've become much stronger. I feel like I'm about to grow up. I understand. Yi Zichen exited his Sea of Consciousness and continued to immerse himself in the virtual world. He still had a little more than 20,000 universe credits left. By 100 A rank and 50 B rank. Fire element. The money he left behind would be used as a backup. Purchase. Confirm delivery address. After doing all that, Yi Zichen logged out from the virtual network. His heart ached too much. He was going to let the fire elemental eat it to see what effect it had. If the effect was really good, then he would nurture other elemental spirit. Money. There will always be. The master of the galaxy should know that he has elemental spirits. Why did he keep so little money before he reached the stellar level? Little did they know. The Lord of the Milky Way did indeed know that Yi Zichen had an elemental fairy. However, he didn't expect Yi Zichen to spend money so fiercely. Just buying resources for the people of the Milky Way galaxy had cost more than 50,000 universe dollars. That's a total of 4 billion Baneo dollars. This girl from Shell Planet is really lucky to have met such a kind mister like you. Yi Zichen's school fee. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. The mister squinted his eyes and smiled. He was shocked when he saw that someone from Shell Planet had come to school. Although the school fees weren't low, it wasn't something that people from Shell Planet could accept. There were people from Shell Planet in many planets with life in the Baneo galaxy. Most of them worked as waiters. When the elder saw Yi Zichen, he finally understood. She actually managed to climb up to this lord. Congratulations, Miss Bei Luo. You are now a core student of our Blue River Academy for 20 years. Bei Luo excitedly held the seal that Mr. Fei gave her. The seal was proof that she was a student of Blue River Academy. Thank you, benefactor. Bei Luo held the seal tightly. Yi Zichen rubbed her head with a smile. We're classmates from now on. Don't call me benefactor all the time. You can call me Yi Zichen or Yizi. Bei Luo shook her head. No matter what, she didn't dare to be friends with Yi Zichen. Then you can call me Yi Ji. Bro. Yi Ji. Bei Luo bit her lips. Yi Zichen caressed her hair. Study properly. Understood. Mr. Yi, Mr. Fei spoke up again. Miss Bei Luo's residence from now on, she'll live with me. Just send all of her guards and waiters over to my place. Alright, I'll choose the people to go over in the afternoon. Thank you. After leaving the school's registration office, Bei Luo happily put the seal on her chest. Look, it's from Planet Shell. It actually has our school's seal. How is that possible? F***CK, core student. Since when did Planet Shell have such a rich person? Shoo, didn't you see the person beside her? He came in spaceship number 3 a few days ago. This Shell planet actually got together with this kind of rich second generation. She's so lucky. Plenty of students pointed and discussed. Yi Zichen tilted his head and looked at Bei Yu. There were also a few pretty female students. She bit her lips. It was as if she hated herself for not standing beside Yi Zichen. Core member was fine. It was fine as long as she knew this kind of rich second generation. Should I tell them to shut up? Yi Zichen asked when he felt the surrounding discussion. Bei Yu shook her head. No worries, Yi Ji, don't bother with them. They can say whatever they want, I don't care. All right. Yi Zichen rubbed Bei Yu's head, causing her communication device to light up. Yi Ji, the slave master sent people over. End of this chapter. Chapter 2062. Brother Yi. The charmingly naive little fatty bar ran out from the core students' area. There were no attendants or guards following behind the little fatty. Yi Zichen was not surprised at all. Putting aside the fact that there might be danger within the school, there were universe-level guards protecting him from the shadows. Even an astrolabe rank guard captain was just an ant in front of this old man. However, Yi Zichen was puzzled. Fatty had universe-level guards, so why did he still come to Blue Galaxy to be a core student? The core students could only enjoy the guidance of the universe level. He could totally ask that old man. Little Fatty's domain level. After running for dozens of meters, he was already panting. He squatted on the ground as if he was about to collapse. All of a sudden, the little fatty stood up. His eyes scanned Bei Luo's body twice, especially the core student seal. Welcome new students to the core area. Young Master Ball. Bei Luo bit his lips while Bar grinned. No, I'm not young Master Bar. Now that we're all core students, you can just call me Bar. With that, Bar moved closer to Yi Zichen. Brother Yi, I'm impressed. Heh. Yi Zichen ignored Bar and looked towards Bei Luo. Where is he? Awoo, it's at the docking port. Let's go. Yi Zichen and Bei Luo walked side by side. Where are you guys going? Bring me along. Planet docking area. Yi Zichen and the others arrived on a commuter bus. The Blue River Star was extremely vast. Driving a spaceship was too wasteful, and the efficiency of flying was too low. Commuter cars were the best mode of transportation. When they arrived at the mooring area, they saw a beautiful woman waving at them. Big sister is over there. Bei Yu smiled. There was a one-eyed man beside the shell planet Beauty, and behind him was a bright silver spaceship. Brother Yi, you can't be. Bar followed Yi Zichen over in surprise. Mr. Yi. The eyes of the beauties were filled with gratitude. When they found out that Yi Zichen was willing to help them regain their freedom, they were so excited that they did not rest for the entire night. They contacted the slave owner on the same day. The slave master quickly sent someone over. Dear Mr. Yi. The one-eyed man welcomed him like an old friend. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Let me introduce myself. I am the guard of the slave master of Shell Star, Heiji. It is an honor to meet you here. Hello. Another universe level. Yi Zichen frowned deeply. Before, he didn't feel that there were many universe levels, but these few days, he had already met two. The guard was a universe level. What kind of existence would the slave owners of Shell Star be? Are you going to redeem these four beauties? The one-eyed man grinned. When he saw the core seal on Bei Yu's body, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. There was no way Shell locals would go to school in Blue River. The only possibility was that this ordinary-looking young man had paid for Bei Yu's tuition fees. He was a rich man. The one-eyed man nodded in satisfaction. When he came here, he was still thinking that if the women of Shell Planet dared to threaten him, they would all be dead. 20,000 Banao dollars for one person, right? That's right. The one-eyed man nodded. He had no intention of raising the price. 4 people from Shell Sea Planet will cost 80,000 Pinao dollars. I wonder if Mr. Here. Yi Zichen took out a coin from his pocket. Mr. The one-eyed man revealed a displeased expression. The largest coin in Banao dollars was only 5,000. Not long later, universe dollars. Yi Zichen had specially gone to the bank to withdraw it. It was too conspicuous to always use a gold card, so it was better to carry some coins with him. All of a sudden, a smile appeared on the one-eyed man's face. "Mister, please wait a moment, I will remove their chips right now." Then, a glow appeared on the one-eyed man's palm. In less than half a minute, the chips of the 4 Shell Planet beauties were all removed. From now on, you will regain your freedom. You will still have the identity and residence of Shell Planet locals. If you want to go back, Shell Planet welcomes you at any time. The one-eyed man smiled in a gentlemanly manner. The Shell Planet beauties hugged each other and cried bitterly. They were free. They were finally free. Before they reached adulthood, they had always lived in the shadow of their slave owners, and worked for them on the planet. After they reached adulthood, they left the planet and were given a chip. What awaited them was a new job. It wasn't that Shell Planet people didn't like to smile, it was that they couldn't. This time, they regained their freedom. Thank you, Mr. Yi. The Shell Planet beauties, including Beiyu, this chapter isn't finished, please continue, kneeled on the ground. Alright, go back. You are free now, you can choose to leave or go back to work. We are willing to follow Mr. Yi. To the Shell Planet beauties, it was Yi Zichen who gave them a new life. They wouldn't leave. What's more, Shell Planet was already weak in the universe. Even if they left, where could they go? Rather than living a life of exhaustion, they might as well stay by Yi Zichen's side. Mr. Yi was a kind person. That's fine, then let's go back. Yi Zichen could more or less guess what they were thinking. It wasn't bad to stay. These past few days, the beauties of Shell Planet had taken good care of him. Even Shea was full of praise for them. She kept saying that Yi Zichen had profited. After Yi Zichen redeemed them from the slave owners, he prepared to return to school. Mr. Yi. The one-eyed man suddenly called out to him. Yi Zichen could see from the one-eyed man's eyes that he seemed to have something to say. You guys go back first. The Shell Planet beauties all nodded obediently. When they saw the Shell Planet beauties leave, Yi Zichen and Bar turned back to look at the one-eyed man. Is something the matter? Sir, it truly is their fortune to have met you, the one-eyed man flattered. The one-eyed man flattered. Let me tell you, these few people from Shelluo Planet are all top-grade beauties. We aren't really willing to let them go. Even if someone really did redeem them, we would raise the price by a few %. That means I have to thank you, Yi Zichen smiled. How could that be? You're too kind, the one-eyed man smiled. Although that was what he said, he did have the same thoughts as Yi Zichen did. Say it, what did you come to find me for? Merchants wouldn't wake up without profit. It was the same for the one-eyed man. He wouldn't flatter Yi Zichen for no reason. What's more, he was at the universe level, while Yi Zichen had just reached the domain level. He definitely had something. Can I give Mr. Yi a way to contact me on the virtual network? Huh? Yi Zichen frowned. It's like this, the one-eyed man rubbed his hands. The one-eyed man rubbed his hands. Our slave owners don't only own Shell Star, but also many other planets. Those planets also have a lot of strong martial artists. If you or your family needs it, you can contact me on the virtual network at any time. I can give you the best discount. End of this chapter. Chapter 2063. Slave Trade. Yi Zichen frowned. He didn't have a good impression of these slave masters. Perhaps it was because they were weak. He had always been afraid that the Milky Way galaxy would become the slave of a powerful warrior in the future. If it wasn't for Bei Yu and company, he didn't even want to interact with slave masters. Just as he was about to leave with a sneer, another thought sprouted in his mind. Buying slaves for the Milky Way galaxy, is that also a form of protection for the Milky Way galaxy? Right now, the strongest in the Milky Way galaxy were the Great Sage and company. None of them had transcended, not even domain level. Any random fourth stage domain level or above could wipe out the entire Milky Way galaxy. What level of slaves do you have? The one-eyed man was overjoyed. As I thought, this noble young master was interested in slaves. The reason why he didn't raise the price. The universe level was so kind that he bowed to Yizichin. It was all for future cooperation. I have all sorts of levels here. The one-eyed man instantly became spirited when Yizichin mentioned slave trade. Domain level, star level, astrolabe level, I can get all of them for you, gasp. I have even astrolabe level. Do you have universe levels? Only universe levels could be considered as true expert. Universe levels were enough to guard a galaxy. If the Milky Way galaxy had universe levels, then Yizichin wouldn't have to worry too much about safety. Mr. Yi is interested in universe levels? The one-eyed man revealed a surprised expression, then raised his eyebrows. We can get universe levels too, it's just that the price will be much higher. How much? The one-eyed man raised a finger. 100 million universe dollars. Goodbye. F*ck, 100 million. Yizichin had thought that universe levels would be very expensive, but he didn't expect them to be so ridiculously expensive. 100 million universe dollars. 8 trillion Banao dollars. That was enough to buy several life planet. What level? Stage 9? Stage 1. F*cku. That's way too expensive. Mr. Yi. Yizichin's expression didn't look too good. The one-eyed man smiled. Universe levels are already the strongest in our universe. Normally galaxies that can give birth to universe-level warriors rarely become slave planet. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Ian ranks are also beginning to comprehend the laws of the universe. Enslavement also requires more time and energy, and the chip level required is also higher. The one-eyed man explained. Yizichin actually understood. However, it was really too expensive. He only had 5,000 universe credits in his hand. Domains, stars, and astrolabes, what's the price? Domain level is cheap. A stage 1 is only 10,000 Banao dollars. 8 of them is the price of 1 universe dollar. Second echelon, 20,000, third echelon, 40,000 renminbi, fourth echelon, 80,000 renminbi, 5 echelon, 200,000 domain realm martial artists were indeed cheap. A 9th echelon domain realm martial artist only cost 2 million, but the main reason was that they were not that useful. Any random object in the universe could be a star? Domain was the level of doing some servant work. Star realm is slightly more expensive. The first echelon starts at 5 million pine coins, the second echelon is 10 million, and the third echelon is 40 million. The astrolabe level requires universe dollars for the transaction. The starting price is 100,000 universe dollars. The funds that Yizichin currently had. It was fine to buy a few star realm, but don't even think about the astrolabe level. Never mind. Yizichin touched his pocket. He was short on money. No worries, just leave me your contact number in the virtual universe. You can contact me anytime you need me. Sure. The one-eyed man boarded the spaceship and left. Yizichin frowned and rubbed his nose. I need money. I haven't felt the feeling of lacking money for a long time. When he was in the Milky Way galaxy, the major powers all provided him with support. All the resources he needed were provided. Now, he was in the universe. He had to start everything from scratch. More importantly, he didn't know anyone. He was still a small fry in the universe. Brother Yi, don't buy slaves from him. The price he gave just now was either raised on purpose to screw you over, or his slave master isn't capable enough and needs to buy from other places. I feel like the latter is more likely. Bar spoke up on the way back. What do you mean? The most important thing for slave merchants is their reputation. They won't ruin their reputation for some small profit. What's more, he's a domain realm and below the 6th stage of the star realm. The price he gave was rather reasonable. From Bar's words, Yizichin could sense that he knew a lot about slave trading. Starting from the 7th stage of the star realm, his price was a bit too high. His astrolabe was frighteningly high. This chapter isn't over. Please continue. The starting price of a astrolabe is 50,000 cosmic credits, but he raised it by half. 100 million cosmic credits for a universe level? That's insane. That much difference? Yizichin was rather confused about the price as well. There was a huge gap between the 7th stage and the star realm. At the time, Yizichin had thought that it was because breaking through to the 7th stage was rather difficult. Bar's expression was very exaggerated as he stared at Yizichin in horror. Yizichin nearly laughed out loud. Why didn't you say so earlier? Cutting off someone's path to wealth is like killing their parents, Bar shrugged. If I had said so, he might have hated me. Even if I told you now, he wouldn't be able to hear me. With that, Bar spoke up again. Buy from him. Below the 6th stage of the star realm is fine. Starting from the 7th stage, you better find a large slave merchant. Without a middleman, the price will be much lower. How do you know all this? Yizichin smiled at the little fatty. During this period of time, he had interacted with the little fatty a lot. He could feel that the little fatty was very rich and generous, but he had never heard him mention his family. Since he didn't say anything, Yizichin didn't ask. Neither of them asked. That was better for Yizichin. He was purely using his universe gold card to keep up appearances, while Bar even had a universe-level guard. He was really rich. Actually, that's what my family does, Bar scratched his head. Huh! My father is a slave merchant, so I naturally know a bit about it, Bar shrugged. The Bar family was actually a slave merchant family. Yizichin looked at the naive little fatty. He couldn't feel any signs of a slave merchant family from him. If Brother Yi really wants to buy slaves, then you can find me. I can give you the fairest price for those above the 9th stage of the universe level, and even give you some discounts. Yizichin was already shocked speechless. The 9th stage of the universe level. Above that was the champion level. He could even get all of that. When the one-eyed man said how hard it was to get universe level, Yizichin could tell that it really was difficult. Bar seemed to be very normal at the 9th stage of the universe level. Forget it. I've already said this much, so I'll tell you everything. Actually, my full name is Steelbar. You should know about the Steel family, right? Bar smiled wryly. Yizichin raised his eyebrows. Steel, what do you do? End of the chapter. Chapter 2064. Ball frowned slightly. The Steel family doesn't know? You did this on purpose, didn't you? Looking at Bar's expression, it seemed like he was about to make a move. Steel. Yizichin knitted his brows. Needless to say, he did have some impression of this family name. He seemed to have seen steel somewhere when he was looking for the fire elemental crystals, Steelbard. Do you know Steelbard? As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Bar's dejected expression. As expected, you all know him. Bar smiled bitterly and shrugged as if he was relieved. I do. The genius of the Steel family, Bart, is my older brother. Iolo, Yizichin nodded calmly. Bar tilted his head and looked at Yizichin in surprise. Don't you feel surprised? Why should I be surprised? I am Steelbad's younger brother, Steelbar. What happened? Yizichin found it a bit strange. Why did he have to be shocked when he was Steelbad's little brother? After a long time, Bar's eyes reddened as he hugged Yizichin. Good brother. Yizichin was stunned. You're the only person in my life who wasn't surprised to learn that I'm Steelbad's brother. That's right, this isn't something to be surprised about. He is him, and I am me. Looking at Bar's valiant and spirited attitude, Yizichin was completely confused. When they returned to the core student residence and parted ways, Bar patted his chest and promised. If you want to buy a slave, look for him. He would definitely give them the best discount. Be reasonable. On the way back, Yi Zichen was very confused. Entering the villa, the beauties of Shell Star affectionately called him Mr. Yi. In the past, Yi Zichen would smile and return the greeting. This time, he went straight to the second floor. Mr. Yi, what's wrong? The beauties of Shell Planet were puzzled. Yi Zichen, he was going to investigate the Steele family. Link to the virtual network. Search the Steele family. A web page that looked like an encyclopedia appeared in the virtual network. Click in. The Steele family. One of the 6 great families of the hidden dark universe country. The family's main business was energy and slaves. It owned the Steele Universe Slave Trading Company and the Steele Energy Trading Company. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Over 100 universe countries, they all had their slave masters that controlled the slave galaxies. In terms of energy, they mainly made energy crystals of the fire and lightning elements. The trade range also included hundreds of universe countries. Holy sh*t! Yi Zichen shouted in shock. Bar's family was so ruthless. Not to mention the slave business, his family was also in the energy trade business. It covered over 100 universe countries. He calmed himself down. Yi Zichen continued to search. Still barred. Bar is his little brother? At first, Yi Zichen hadn't been surprised, but now, he couldn't help but say it out loud. He didn't say it before because he didn't know who Bard was. His impression of this name was that he had seen it on the internet before. When he saw Bale's resume, Yi Zichen was shocked. Still Bard. The 16th generation eldest son of the Steele family. Domain for 6 years. 12th year constellation. 104 astrolabe. 507 years in the universe. 2433 universe battle general. Core member of an advanced academy in the virtual world. Master of both the wind and fire element. Condense a heaven-level weapon martial spirit. Hailed as a peerless genius that only appears once in a trillion years. Yi Zichen didn't understand a single thing after that, but he found it terrifying. Skyspan Towers cosmic level breakthrough to level 21. Sea of Innocence's cosmic level breakthrough to level 19. Cosmic level kill account of a different race. This person is actually Bar's older brother. No wonder Bar smiled wryly when Yi Zichen mentioned Bard. With such a genius older brother, it would be very difficult for him to make a name for himself in the family. It was also very difficult for Bar and Bar to relate to each other. Bar was already a universe battle general. Bar was only a domain. The difference was so huge. It would be fine if they weren't twins. But if they were, Bar would probably feel even worse. What are elemental control and martial spirits? From Steelbard's introduction, Yi Zichen was filled with curiosity towards martial spirits and elemental control. Found it. As expected, these were all information that anyone could search for with relatively low clearance. Within the virtual network, not all information was open to the public. There was a lot of information that required reading permission. This was to prevent the outsiders from finding out too much and causing trouble for humanity. This chapter isn't finished. Please continue. In that case, human geniuses deserved absolute protection. That was especially true for a genius like Bar. Yi Zichen's anonymous account could be searched and his monstrous talent could be seen. The outsiders would definitely be able to find out as well. They would absolutely do everything in their power and resources to kill a genius like him. Wasn't this pushing him into a pit of fire? Yi Zichen couldn't understand the actions of major figures, so he shook his head and continued searching for information on martial spirits and elemental control. In the universe, after reaching the universe level, humans would comprehend the laws of the universe and undergo a second awakening. The awakening involved becoming a warrior and a controller. A controller could control the elemental energy of heaven and earth. They could use it for their own use. The awakening of elemental control would determine their future development. Thunder, fire, metal, and lightning. The 4 major elements were purely violent. Thunder and fire were the fiercest, followed by metal and lightning. Wind, rain, wood, and earth. They tended to defend and control. Their output wasn't high, but they had plenty of control and defense. Among them, wind and wood tended to control and escape. Rain and earth tended to defend and had a certain degree of control. Light. Pure healing. A mouthful of milk was like the light of life. Defensive turtle shells. On the battlefield of the outside, the outsiders called them turtle shell mages. Space, time, darkness, these three types of elemental energy were relatively rare. Controlling elemental energy was easy to understand. Among them, controlling one type was considered a conventional controller. 2 were elites. 3 were rare. 4 or more were practically impossible to find. There are so many ways to control the elements? Yizichin reached out. Instantly, 5 types of elemental energy appeared on his fingers. What do I count as? The 5 types of elemental energy gathered in his palm. More importantly, these 5 types of elemental energies had yet to fight each other. Then he looked at the warriors. Martial artists had strong physical talents, and they were better at close combat. Awakening their martial spirits would make them even stronger. Different martial spirits had different abilities. Weapons type, attack type warrior. Lightning, fire, metal, and lightning. Plant type, defense type, control type warrior. Yizichin looked at the introduction and waved his hand. 4 dazzling golden godheads appeared above his head. One was a longsword, and one was a dagger. One was a willow leaf, and the other glowed with a strange, pitch-black light. F***CK, what do I count as? Didn't they say I only awakened at the universe level? What's wrong with me? End of chapter. Chapter 2065. At the Core Academy. Today's lesson will end here. The special universe level teacher left the virtual network 2 hours after the lesson. I didn't expect the universe level lessons to be in the virtual network. Yizichin sat on his seat and muttered softly as he watched Teacher Universe leave the network. Today was the 13th day of school in Blue River Academy. It was also the first lesson for the core student. Universe level experts are all adventuring in the universe. How could they have the time to come to Blue River Planet to teach? Using the virtual network is also more convenient. A soft voice sounded out. Hearing that, Yizichin raised his eyebrows and revealed a smile. Hortark. Hortark was a friend Yizichin got to know in class after he officially entered the academy. Yizichin didn't see him in the core zone. That was because he was from Blue River, so he usually stayed in his own home. How is it? How does it feel to be in a universe-level lesson? I learned a lot. It's fake, right? Hortark laughed. No matter how good a lesson in the virtual network is, it's only theoretical knowledge. There is no real practicality. Yizichin smiled without saying anything. Hortark might not know that what he needed right now was more theoretical knowledge. He had just arrived in the universe. Everything about Yizichin was like a blank piece of paper. For him, theoretical knowledge might be more beneficial than practical lessons. What are you talking about? 100 Feast Hall, let's go? Bar rushed over and didn't forget to call Bayu along. Beauty Bayu, do me the honor. Ah. Sure, Bayu nodded. I won't be going, Yizichin smiled. I have other things to do later. With that, Yizichin left the virtual network. I won't be going either. Bayu waved her hand. Seriously, Bar twitched his mouth in annoyance. Let's go. Yizichin's consciousness returned to reality. At that moment, Yizichin was sitting on the soft bed in his room. When he walked out of the room, he saw Shaya sitting on the sofa and watching an entertainment show on the Universe Network. The universe needed entertainment as well. No one could cultivate all the time, so they needed to relax as well. Thus, entertainment shows had rather high viewership ratings in the universe. This chapter is not finished. Please turn the page. Idiot. Shaya laughed in the living room. Yizichin walked over with excitement in his eyes. We've arrived? Class is over. Shea glanced at him and pointed at a small box in the living room. We're here. You've finally come. Yizichin jogged over and squatted in front of the box, while Shea also gave up on the entertainment program. What did you buy? When the package arrived, Shea only signed for it. As for what exactly was inside, she also knew. Elemental crystal stones. Yizichin carefully opened the box according to the instructions on the outside. Because the elemental crystal stone was the product of the compression of the element. The slightest carelessness. It was very likely that it would explode. You really bought it? Shaya was stunned. Why not? The box opened. 100 fiery red elemental crystal stones of the same specifications were arranged in rows of 10, and a total of 10 rows were placed inside. Fire elemental energy gushed out. The fire elemental sprites crawled out. I smell the elements. The fire elemental sprite's eyes lit up as it ran to the chest. I feel that the fire elemental energy in the other chest is even purer. At the same time, he did not forget to greet Shea. Hello, beauty, we meet again. Hello, Shea waved her hand with a giggle. Emperor Star, hurry up and open that chest, the fire elemental sprite urged. He could feel that the other chest was calling out to him even more intensely. Your nose is really sharp. Yizichin opened the other chest with a smile. It was still the same specifications, but the crystals on it were darker than the ones in the previous chest. These are all for me, right? The fire elemental sprite laughed. Yizichin nodded. They're all for you. Amazing. The fire elemental sprite waved his hand, causing all of the elemental crystals in the chest to crawl into his body. What are you doing? I used 15,000 universe credits to buy these crystals. Half a second. That's all? Don't tell me that you already absorbed all of them. Yizichin's heart trembled when he asked that. How is that possible? The fire elemental sprite smiled. I just put them all into my core to slowly absorb. The quality is probably a bit different. If this chapter doesn't end, please continue. The ones with the same quality will take 12 hours to absorb, while the ones with better quality will take about a day. The ones with the same quality were only grade A, there were 100 of them. The ones with better quality were grade B, there were 50 of them. In other words, he only needed 80 days. I'll absorb them all. Alright, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, I'm going back. Haha, I feel like I can grow up with these elemental energies. The fire elemental sprite laughed and crawled into Yizichin's arm. Absorb them properly, don't waste them. These things are too expensive. Also, don't forget to tell me about the effects of absorbing the 2 types of crystals. I need to calculate the cost, Yizichin said urgently. The fire elemental sprite completely ignored him. This bastard. Yizichin couldn't help but curse. You really bought them? When the fire elemental sprite crawled into Yizichin's arm, Shea revealed a look of shock. How is it? Is it expensive? You don't know. Why should I know? Shea twitched his mouth. I didn't buy these. How much were those 2 chests? 15,000. Banao dollars? Shea licked his lips, then felt like his words were too stupid. Universe dollars? What do you think? Yizichin asked sullenly. Shea let out a sigh. A money-squandering den 15,000 for 80 days. For elemental sprites. Young man, I can tell that you're under a lot of pressure. As for that, Yizichin was unwilling to think about it. I hope there will be some surprises. Not to mention a domain level, even a universe level would feel the pinch of losing 15,000 universe dollars. Yizichin learned about control and martial artists. Yizichin was even more determined to nurture the 5 elemental sprites. The stronger they were, the stronger their ability to control the elements would be in the future. It was all just an initial investment. The only thing Yizichin hoped for was that the fire elemental sprite wouldn't tell him that there was no progress. If that happened, then he might explode mentally. I really don't know what Milky Way is doing. Since he left the elemental sprites for you, He should know how expensive they are. Why didn't he leave you more? Shea twitched his mouth. Yeah, Yizichin nodded. Both of them were complaining about Milky Way being stingy. Milky Way? King gave you guys money, and you're criticizing me? Do you even have a conscience? End of chapter. Chapter 2066. Yi, here's your juice. Beiyu walked over with a glass of fruit juice, specially made by Shell Star. Don't do this anymore. Yi Zichen placed the juice on the table and said to Beiyu, you have to improve your strength as soon as possible. Don't forget, you are someone who wants to become strong. Actually, Yi Zichen knew very well that Beiyu had been working very hard recently. No matter if it was the school stars, astrolabe or universe level classes, she did not miss any of them. He had also taken down a lot of notes on the explanations given by the school teachers. In terms of effort, Beiyu was actually more hard-working than Yi Zichen. I know. Beiyu nodded with a smile. After interacting with her for the past few days, Beiyu gave off a much more confident feeling. She was born cute and full of confidence. Many core and entry-level students in the school, even if they knew that she was from Shelluo planet, many of them still expressed their love for her. Beiyu was now very popular in school. There were many people chasing after her. She had once said that she received hundreds of love letters on the virtual network every day. I'm just here to give Yi a glass of juice. I'm going to study now. Beiyu smiled and ran away from the living room. Xiaoya looked at Beiyu's petite back. She's lucky to have met you. But to be honest, I don't think she'll make much progress. Planet Beiyu has been born in the universe for tens of millions of years, and there has never been a star-level planet, Shea said with pursed lips. Everyone has the right to hope. Yi Zichen said calmly. Hearing that, Shea was stunned for a moment, perhaps because she was thinking about what he just said. She didn't comment on Yi Zichen's theory of hope. But it's also undeniable that sometimes despair after seeing hope is more terrifying. Shea stretched his back. The Shell planet has been a slave planet ever since it was born. To be able to study in a universe school and become a core member, this is something that countless Shell planet citizens wouldn't even dare to dream of. Yi Zichen looked at Shea silently. Xiaoya continued. Now you're forcefully changing her life and letting her come into contact with people she shouldn't have. You can provide for her for 20 years, but what about the future? Forget it, what's the point of saying all this? After a while, Shea shook her head and smiled to herself. Maybe what you're doing can really turn their situation around. If this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. As soon as he finished speaking, Shea stretched his body again. I'm going to watch an entertainment show. Do you want to join us? It's pretty good. Looking at the Universe Network projector, the entertainment program on the projector was suddenly cut off without any warning. The entire projection screen seemed to have been invaded by a virus, become garbled. No way. Shea raised her eyebrows and changed the frequency on the projector. Without exception, they all agreed to go. Who would have the guts to hack into the Virtual World Corporation's network? Even if they want to become famous, there's no need to go so far. Xiaoya couldn't help but exclaim. Suddenly, the scene returned to normal. Special broadcast. This is heart-wrenching news. The genius that was once born in our human race, the Milky Way Master, has joined the camp of the Xenorace. This piece of news came from 200 million years ago. The Human Race Alliance received the news. Because of the contributions that the Master of the Galaxy has made to mankind, we are unwilling to believe that all of this is true. After countless years of careful investigation, our Human Race Alliance has no choice but to announce this fact. The Master of the Galaxy has indeed betrayed humanity and joined the Xenorace. Starting today, the Milky Way has officially been removed from the 308 universe countries. The entire territory of the Milky Way will be merged into the Tsangyu Galaxy. We now invite the leader of the Tsangyu Galaxy, On Sangyu Dong, Shea smashed the projection into pieces with a single punch. The violent sound made the beauties from the shell planet in the villa, as well as the guards led by Cooley outside, rush in. They saw the floor littered with the remnants of the projector. There was also Shea, who was gritting her teeth and clenching her fist. Yi Zichen waved at them and the guards left the villa. The shell planet beauties also returned to their work area. Shameless. Shea bit her lips, crystal-clear tears swirling in her eyes. The Milky Way had been removed from the universe. The Master of the Galaxy had betrayed humanity and joined the Xenorace. It was truly laughable. Do you know who announced the news just now? Shea held back her tears and pointed at the screen. The supervisor of the Southwest Universe country, Wei Li. Yi Zichen saw the introduction of him on the screen. He used to be. This chapter is not finished. Please continue. The Master of the Galaxy's student. It's not just him. The Southwest Universe country's Minister of Commerce is the Master of the Galaxy's senior brother. The Southwest Universe country's Minister of Defense is his junior sister. The 9 people who appeared on the screen were all helped up by him. Yi Zichen's heart pounded. The Southwest Universe country. In other words, all the universe countries in the Southwest. There were more than 400 of them. Such a high-level profession was actually supported by the Master of the Galaxy. Since they were all supported by the Master of the Galaxy, then why could it be that the Sangyu Galaxy was so meticulous that the Master of the Galaxy's close friends couldn't find any clues? Actually, Yi Zichen had other thoughts. However, the moment the thought appeared, he dismissed it. After all, these people were all supported by the Master of the Galaxy. If there was anyone who knew how to repay kindness, they would also do their best to investigate. He couldn't. All of you are heartless and ungrateful. If that was really the case, then the Master of the Galaxy was truly pitiful. Remember them. You must firmly remember them. Everything they did to the Milky Way, everything they did to the Master of the Galaxy. Shea clenched her fists. Yi Zichen frowned. You can't be trying to say. That's right, they're on the same side. Shea took a deep breath. They're all in contact with the outsiders. They're the true traitors of the human race. Yi Zichen believed this. If Shea told anyone else, no one would believe her. The people who appeared just now, they were all higher-ups in the human universe. Power, status, money. They didn't lack any of it. There was no reason for them to contact the other races and risk being discovered as a traitor to the human race. Yi Zichen believed her. Big Brother Yi, Miss Shea. At that moment, Beiyu rushed out of her room. Her face was covered in panic, and when she saw Shea, her gaze was filled with fear. What is it? Yi Zichen frowned when he sensed Beiyu's fluctuating emotions. Miss Shea, she. Beiyu bit her lip. Took her a while to calm down. Miss Shea is on the human race's wanted list. End of chapter. Chapter 2067. Red Packet Server, Chapter 2062. Universe wanted order. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to receive the latest update.